Static's black, isn't he? I'm just going to get that out of the way.
Yes.
Yes, he's a black
Right,
man.
okay.
Okay.
Mm.
Here is...
I actually only ever watched one episode of the original Static Shock, which had Batman and the Joker in it.
Oh, yeah.
It was an interesting...
Of course.
Yes. All right. Welcome, everyone, to Smudcast number 322. Static Shock is back, and people are mad. Now, in case you don't know, this is another video by Comic Drake. I think this is the third video we're covering by Comic Drake. He's the more tolerable of his ilk. Not to say politically binded, but the comic book world. It's more, we can tolerate it. We don't go crazy with his takes. They're just a few bad ideas, and he just cuts it within 10 minutes, and we can go get a drink, and everything's happy, and we can get on with our lives pretty much.
You can go back to surfing in your multi-million-dollar apartment, can't you, Smud?
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, after all that Mike testimony, yeah, for sure. So I haven't actually watched this one.
Those 50 cents just keep piling up.
Oh,
Soon add up.
after taxes and after YouTube takes its cut, yeah.
Yeah.
All that wonderful YouTube super chat money, yeah. So this is only 11.
25.78 first million.
Yeah, woo! Can't wait. So Comic Drake we've covered before. He has some really strange takes on comic book shows, and just anything related to animated depictions. So take him or leave him. He's not a horrible YouTuber. He does lots of good cuts at times. It's just his arguments aren't that hot.
We haven't heard one yet, but
Well,
yeah,
it's a lot of opinion and emotion, which I've understood from these people are their whole shtick, because nothing is objective, nothing can be taught. There's no craft to anything.
Nothing's objective except Black Lives Matter is definitely good.
Apparently, yeah, that's the aesthetical as well as the ethical definition of what is good in the world. It's always BLM or ACAB or pick an acronym and they'll say it. It's always a good thing for them. So anyway, this
like PP2784 QLS.
Oh, I thought that was a Stargate planet or something. Okay.
It could be. I don't know why I thought that phrase, to be honest with you.
Well, this video came out last week on the 22nd. So it's got about 77,000 views. So I guess people are liking his stuff. Good for him. Fantastic. I'm always curious what if he's going to be selling anything, because last time we had a 2-minute interlude at the start of a video about interactive slash fiction on a website. It was amazing. I've never seen that before. That was like, how Ben Shapiro is like always selling stuff every 5-10 minutes, but he's fast. This was like another Jewish man, but selling something for 2.5 minutes. And it's porn. You're just sitting there going, come on, dude. You can't be serious. I like to beat off with other people, reading about other gay people, them beating off together. It's like, okay. Thank you, I think.
It's
amazing.
I'm just... Nothing surprises me anymore, to be honest with you. I think I've reached the age where I've seen fucking everything, and it's just like, yeah, whatever.
It's amazing. I love
Getting too old for this shit, to be honest.
Yeah. So can anyone tell me about Static Shock as a character? 'Cause I don't know too much about him. I only watched an episode here and there back. This is like 20 years ago, so I don't remember exactly what it was about.
Yeah, because this was about the same time as there was at Batman Beyond was coming out.
Yeah. He's one of Dwayne McDuffie's creations for the Dakota Comics universe. Eventually got... Ginga, did you just get possessed by a cow? What the fuck was that noise?
No, it's like rest in peace, Dwayne McDuffie.
Oh, okay. Anyway.
Is he... Rip, that guy. Mm-hmm.
What?
What? I don't know. Some rest in peace or something, I don't know. Carry on, Bears.
You pulled an
Sorry.
Adam Jensen on us.
What the fuck is happening? You got a cow and then fucking Hawk is playing Rest in Peace to Mark for some reason.
Okay.
I don't know. I thought someone said he was dead. I don't know. I must have misheard.
Yeah, Dwayne McDuffie is dead. He died after the animated All-Star Superman came out.
Oh.
That was
Okay,
his last. It was his last directing thing for.
Oh.
DCAU.
Yeah, for indeed.
So rip that guy. Okay, see, I told you.
Moving on.
So what is Static Shock? I get a clear answer there. What exactly is the character? What is he?
He's one of Dwayne McDuffie's creations for the Dakota verse. He is just just a normal like black teen. His mom died of I believe cancer or something. He was 14 years old. He's living with his sister and his dad.
Okay.
And first episode was him getting bullied, but someone came to his rescue, a guy named Wade. But big problem is that Wade turned out to be a gangbanger, and he expected Virgil to help him because he helped Virgil, which is how Virgil got caught up in a massive gang fight down at the docks. And when the police tried to break it up, some canisters of some mutagen were exploded. And an event later known as the Big Bang. And it created a bunch of superpowered kids. I think kids to, early 20s people. They're known as bang babies in the lore.
Exactly. I was going to say to the point where they got their own designation.
Okay, so this was an event that was probably well told in the stories, not just Static Shock stories, but other comics as well.
Yeah.
Okay. And why is this guy popular? Why did they make a series out of him, and why are they bringing him back? Is what I want to know.
Well, the original series itself is part of the reason why he's so popular.
Yeah, because the show was actually really good.
Oh, okay.
And
it was a very well-made cartoon in the late 90s, early 2000s?
Early
2000s, because they did eventually into the DCAU.
Yeah, because isn't he also involved in where the Justice League go forward in time? And
he shows up as part of the Justice League, the adult version of him,
I forget the name of the episode, but it was when Kronos travels all over time and fucks things up.
Yeah, we got that one vision of Dr. Manhattan creating the universe at the very end of that.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, really?
Wow.
In the DCAU?
Yeah, it was God in that is depicted as a massive blue hand, bright blue hand with the universe, with the universe sitting in it. Yes.
So the implication is that Doc Manhattan made the DCAU.
I honestly didn't put that together.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that episode aired long before the Watchmen movie brought Watchmen back into the popular consciousness. I know it was always popular, but it wasn't it didn't have a
publicly popular
theatrical release behind it,
I mean, was the connection between Watchmen and the New 52 before or after the movie?
I think that was a little later. I don't remember when New 52 happened, but I think it was after the Watchmen movie came out.
New 52 was I think mid 2010s probably. But anyway,
that sounds about right.
Yeah.
2011.
Anyway,
so it's 2 years after the movie.
Is just really a black teenage superhero.
Yeah, he's just
the whole thing was he was a black teenager from kind of a not a great part of town, with a sister.
Well,
I don't remember exactly how bad the area.
He lived in an actual house. His dad was doing a lot of these outreach programs and shit, trying to get people out of gangs.
Oh right. Okay.
Yeah. He has a single dad. He has a sister who's kind of
a teenage sister.
Yeah, she's kind of a mess, but she's also when the chips are down, she's still on his side and everything. And Yeah, he ends up with superpowers because of a gas explosion at a. He's
If I
like,
remember correctly,
there's like a gang fight.
yeah, like a big,
And-
like a full out gang war.
Yeah, and he's not part of the gang fight. He's there by coincidence. And
Well,
he
no,
gets
it's because of
No,
the
he
guy.
got roped into it.
Yeah, the guy Wade helped him out with the character who would eventually become.
Oh yeah,
the hotspot.
that's it. Yeah, he was like
Oh, no.
repaying a favor or
Streak,
something.
streak.
Oh yeah, you're right, hot streak.
All right, so here's a super
Yeah.
chat from Otaku Sage, and he's telling me that the retcon actually made me mad. So I'm assuming they brought it back and changed things. Does anyone know about that?
Yeah, he's now supposedly the whole Big Bang thing happened because the police are trying to break up a Black Lives Matter protest, which Virgil was at.
Oh. It's just one of those things that could have legitimately worked, but they had to ruin it with the politics of it.
No, like the story works better because Virgil was there. He feels responsible for having been participating in the gang fight in the first place, and he's the only one who is any kind of responsible with the new superpowers he got. So he has to be the one to try and fight them.
No, I get that. It's just
Like in the original, yes, in the original it makes sense. In the new one,
Yes.
there's no reason for him to be fighting all the other Bang babies.
Yeah, that too.
Because
That,
they were
exactly.
all on his side supposedly. If they're all there chanting for Black Lives Matter, and he's there chanting for Black Lives Matter, they're all on the same side.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the retcon that doesn't make sense in general. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Here's Joe Crazy. Hey, Joe, thanks for the 5. Don't mind the collateral damage. They are mostly peaceful supervillains. Really?
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Well,
static shots get rogue salaries. Just don't fuck with them, and they'll stay out of your way. Otherwise, they'll go nuts.
Yeah. Now, 'cause
Kinda.
now
At
it's
least some of them.
just a bunch of random people at a protest instead of a bunch of gang bangers who ended up with more power than they know what to do with.
And it's like especially Ebon. It's like you don't mess with him; he stays out of your way.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Good stuff.
Yeah, the problem with Ebon is that he's still a gang leader.
No, yeah,
can't
gang
wait.
leader, and he's not all up there in the. He's not all there in the head to begin with, anyway. So.
Yeah, and I can't wait for Francis, whatever his name, is that Hot Streak, the
Yeah.
white guy to be like a white supremacist. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, you bet your ass they're gonna do it
Oh,
that
dear.
way. God damn
Of
it.
course, instead of it being like they handled that in the original show better because Richie's dad is actually a racist, and Richie doesn't like that.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah, and the original was fine. They knew how to tackle that, but
Yeah. And then, like, just through Virgil's actions of being a good kid, he started changing Richie's dad's mind about black people.
exactly.
they even did a gun violence episode that they handled a lot better than it would be these
The
days.
gun thing, yes.
That's
that
what
one was
it
really
was.
good. That one was good. Yeah.
That's what it was. His mom died due to gang violence, which is why he
Yeah,
was.
she was a first responder. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah, that's not the one I was talking about. Though. I was talking about the one where Richie accidentally got shot.
okay. Well, we
No,
got,
yeah, one there.
we got 3 donations. I got to read them out, and we'll get started. Here's Fritz. Great. This loser again. I can't wait for trivializing and reducing Static's dad and sister like he did to Mark's mom and the comic version of Amber, who is superior, by the way.
Yeah.
I think that's something else he's talking about.
His Invincible video where
Yeah.
he said
His
people don't like
Invincible
Amber because
video.
they're racist.
Oh, that. Yeah.
It's because she's a
Yeah.
twat.
No, it's because everyone is a racist.
Well,
no specific people.
Amber's not going to help the cause. I'm just going to put that out there.
No
Pretty much.
specific people, just people in general don't like Amber because they're racist, which is no doubt what this is going to be, where the people who are mad are going to be just like some nebulous amalgamation of people Comic Drake doesn't like.
I would not be surprised.
Because that's all it ever is. It's people. It's not like here are a bunch of examples. It's like people, and maybe we'll get 1 or 2 Twitter posts with 3 likes between them.
Yeah.
From accounts that are a name and 8 digits.
I really wish he'd stop using my Twitter account as evidence of being racist. I mean, everyone knows I am. It's just kind of annoying then.
All right, here is Kyle Rocket. Is this Comic Drake? I watched the dumbass video. He makes 0 effing sense. Okay. We'll watch it with you. We'll see it together.
With a subject like this, I am not surprised if that's the case.
Here's Francis Board Coppola. The only way I think they could redeem this version of Static is if he leaves the BLM group because the members start committing crimes to fund BLM, and he decides to work with the police, and everyone calls him a turncoat, rat, stool pigeon, etc. Wow.
That's not what they would call him.
Okay.
They would call him much worse than that.
Uncle Tom, Coon, that kind of shit.
Okay.
I have no doubt that this new Static Shock revival will be handled with tact and nuance.
Oh.
Because that's, as we all know, that is the modern comic industry. Tactful and nuanced.
Yeah, it's
Who's writing this?
Oh.
If it's female, I bet she's fat and ugly. If it's male, I get he's probably black, gay, and hates white people.
So Ta-Nehisi Coates.
And has his hair.
It probably is Ta-Nehisi Coates. The man who keeps failing upwards.
Apparently there's 5 of them. Dwayne McDuffie was the original, I believe.
Dwayne McDuffie was the creator.
Dwayne McDuffie was the man.
Yeah. Then there's Paul Dini, John Ridley, Stan Berkowitz, and Adam Beechin. Don't know. I could be wrong. Anyway.
Yeah, a lot of those are pretty good writers most of the time, especially Paul Dini.
All right. Good stuff.
I just looked at him and saw his new concept design. It looks awful.
Yeah, it's like a fucking baseball cap sewn into a hoodie.
Oh, clever.
What on earth?
That's sewn into a trench coat.
It looks like a duck's head.
All right.
You have to remember that black people only have so many types of clothing.
Yeah, the hoodie is the symbol of black something or other.
Listen, you have a choice. It's either a baseball cap and a hoodie, or he's in a grass skirt. That's all that black people know how to wear.
Why does Hotstreak have why does he look like his hair would grow into an afro if you let it grow out?
What?
Because he's black? I don't know.
He's not black.
No,
He's white, and his hair is red, but it looks like...
Is he black? Is he black on the inside, though?
Shut up.
Is that a reverse Oreo? What do they call that? What's the slang term for that?
Oh, custard cream.
Yeah, it's called stupid. Moving on.
All right. 2 more donations and a super chat. We're going really slow. That's okay. Fritz, Ebon is the Ansem Z Hanort to Virgil Sora. His powers are literal darkness. That sounds surprisingly like another reference that's unrelated.
It's pretty much. It's like if there had to be a single one of the villains that had to be like the definitive antagonist of the whole show, it's Ebon.
Okay, because when you say the darkness, that is an actual comic book. And I was like, wait a second, that's a different series, so I don't think that's the same.
No, it's a different thing. It's just like he manipulates his body with like a representation of darkness.
Ah, cool. All right, cool.
Yeah, he has like shadow powers.
So it's not like Jackie Estacado pops in for the DC universe and starts shooting people.
And then Ebon's brother is basically Mr. Fantastic.
If he did that, it would be more exciting. Oh yes, Rubber Band Man.
What?
Yeah, Rubber Band Man.
Yeah, no. Virgil actually turns Rubber Band Man from a straight up villain to kind of like an anti-hero.
Pretty much.
All right.
Yeah, because he's never really like evil to begin with. He wants money.
Can I unscrew that jar for you? It'll be $20.
Yeah, Rubber Band Man. Yeah, it's like it's a lot. It's a big meme. The whole thing is like, I'm not bad, I'm misunderstood. But Rubber Band Man was legitimately misunderstood, especially since his brother is pretty much the main villain of the show.
Okay, Rubber Band Man, awesome.
Okay, I have done a little digging,
But
and
you just gotta watch his arc. It's like it's pretty good.
Really?
I've done some digging, and it's not good news.
What?
The writer of this comic
Who is it?
Who is it?
It is Vita Ayala, and I look at her bio on Comixology. Ahem. Vito Ayala is a queer Afro-Latinx writer out of New York City, where they live with their wife and cat sons.
What?
I find it interesting. I find it interesting that we have to have, like, you have to look like the person down to every single fucking thing, except for when it's a straight character, a straight black young man.
It's a woman.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you don't even have a black man writing all these fucking people. They're like, oh, we need to have the people who write this shit look like the character. But like Static Shock does not look like some fucking queer with cat sons. Right? He's not part Latino, he's full black. And he's a boy.
Yeah. I mean, cat sons.
As we've said earlier, Paul frickin' Dini and others have written for Static, while Dwayne himself has written for characters like Superman and Batman and the Justice League and all that. So the argument is invalid.
Right.
I'm still over the fact that cat sons. I mean, if there's ever people who need to be genocided, it's people who say I have cat sons.
Well, how else are
people who use the term
Paradise gonna have sons?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'd rather the cats suffer.
Yeah,
at least
people who use the term fur babies.
Oh my god, honestly.
Yeah, just avoid those on the dating websites, guys.
Here, the rest of you get to suffer now too.
Yeah. There's lots of things to look out for on those profiles. It's just like, okay.
Yeah, people who say fur babies, you just sort of go like, you know something, Hitler wasn't wrong with the final solution. You know, he just chose the wrong group of people.
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
to be honest with you, you can, you know what, I want that on my gravestone now. Hitler wasn't wrong, he just picked the wrong type of people.
Yeah, I think now's a good time to start the video, please.
Yeah, probably.
Two more and we get going. Here's Francis Bortocopla again. I was rewatching Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and there's a scene where Spike finds out Angel is fighting for the humans, and he calls Angel an Uncle Tom. It was funny. I hope it happens in Static Shock. Well, you can only hope, I guess. Who knows?
I'm sure Vita Ayala will handle Static's origin with tact and nuance.
Oh,
yeah. You know something? So do I.
Extra fucking doubt though.
About this character, dude.
All right.
Me, I don't give a shit about anybody for anything ever now. I just go along for the ride, and I'm just there to like pat people, like real fans on the shoulder, and go like, you know something, if you want to cry, my shoulder's always available. And then I just drink my beer, and that's it.
You get drunk and move on.
All right.
I've stopped loving things. I've stopped caring. I'm just dead on the inside now.
All right.
Let's go.
One more, and we'll go. The Mechanist. I still prefer Black Vulcan or Black Lightning.
Oh, Black Lightning. I know that one. I've not really seen much
Black
about
Lightning
it,
ended up being a mentor to Static because they have similar powers.
Didn't Black Lightning? Which one came first? I'm curious. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Black Lightning was around in the 70s.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Black Lightning is specifically DC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Static was essentially Dwayne McDuffie making his lawyer-friendly reimagining of Black Lightning.
Nah, I don't think so.
All right. Anyway, let's start.
Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
So the Static series has finally made a comeback after being gone for years since it was tied up in lawsuits. If you want to know more about it, then I actually have a video dedicated to talking about what happens in the series.
Dude.
But yeah, Static is back. He has a new comic book series, a live-action movie in the works. What could possibly go wrong? The internet.
Everything.
The internet happened. Static is one of the most beloved superheroes of all time. So why are people suddenly up in arms after spending years demanding his return? Well, when the Static reboot comic came out, it was revealed that he got his powers from a Black Lives Matter
confidence
protest.
in the writer.
And now all your usual
the origin looks stupid.
I'm just pausing so you can say your stuff.
The people are upset because the writer is terrible and the new origin looks dumb. There, answered your question. We're finished.
What I always love is the internet's great.
Oh my god! Look at that.
About stuff.
Look at this image with that gas mask literally dressing the riot cop like a Nazi stormtrooper. Give me a break.
It's no sense because it makes no sense because the fucking bang gas gives you superpowers. So why wouldn't you want to do that?
I'm curious.
Something. I really wish these people would meet actual proper Nazis one day. I really want these soy latte drinking cunts to actually meet Nazis, because that would be actually interesting to watch.
Is there some legal reason or copyright reason that he's taking away all the dialogue bubbles and the narration?
I don't know if they've shown that yet.
A lot of people have gotten struck for just showing straight up comic book panels without editing out the dialogue.
Yeah, but why?
Because
Warner Brothers is really trigger happy with copyright claims.
That is, I mean, you're still showing the comic book page of the artwork, so
the artwork means nothing. It's the propaganda that's written that's the important thing.
The dialogue, oh my god, you're copyrighting, but the images, we don't care.
No one remembers. Yeah, no one remembers that in the Communist Manifesto, Karl Marx drew pictures of like himself half naked. They just look at the words. So
Also, why are you wearing a hooded shirt with short sleeves?
Because he's a fag. I don't know. What do you want? I don't know.
Hold on. A hooded, it's good for like winter exercise. That way you have ventilation, but your head's still warm.
This guy doesn't exercise in the winter.
I'm just fucking saying.
Bears are just throwing shit out there, seeing what will stick, right? And he's just throwing out winter exercise. It's not sticking. Well, it's something. It's better than me. I just insulted him. I don't care. He can wear what he wants.
All right. Here's the sex defender for the donation. Thank you. Why is it the men who praise these shit ass products are these limp Rusred? WRUSRED. Is that a word? Rusred?
No, he's
pretty sure it was supposed to be wristed.
Wristed. I thought so. Yeah. Okay. Pastier than a sheet of paper. White soy boys who die in a pillow fight with their wife's boyfriends. Jesus, I'm sensing a pattern.
Because they're fucking faggots. They have no personality aside from what arguments on Twitter they make.
Well, I do kind of like his.
No.
Aside from following whatever new movement they're supposed to and product.
Yes.
Consuming new products.
There's a new minority around. It's called the Eskimos. We have to protect them from the horrible Canadian government.
Mm.
Those horrible socialists.
And the Eskimos are literally like, bro, we just want to do our little ice hole fishing. Leave us alone. Just.
No. We got to go to the Arctic, man. We got to go save the Eskimos.
Oh man, did anyone hear about that? New Zealand leftist group that abolished itself for being too white.
What?
Really?
They're an environmental group in New Zealand, and they realised that their group was based on white supremacy because there was too many white people in it. So they abolished.
White is New Zealand.
Yes.
About 70, 80 odd.
Yes, percentage.
Yeah, but they were talking about it, and this the head of this Maori environmentalist thing was saying like, environmental crises will affect people of color 20% more than white people. Somehow.
I think
they don't.
I would think if he's talking globally, that would be because if the globe warms up,
if the temperature is going up, black people are going to suffer less because that's what melanin is for.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, regardless, I think it's that they're countries full of non-white people are going to be hit harder because they're closer to the equator. But is that what he was talking about?
New Zealand's not close to the equator.
No, it's not. I'm just saying that might be what this guy was talking about, because that.
Well, is not really. He's because.
But if he was talking about New Zealand, then I got nothing.
Well, the best thing I'm trying to explain it the best I can, but it's on Sargon's podcast of the Lotus Eaters video. He covered it, and but what this New Zealand Maori thing, I can't even name the group he's with because that is literally just TCP something. Yeah, and he literally said, "I'd like to see more of these white-led groups abolish themselves." And it's like, yes, let all these leftists abolish themselves. I think they're too white. Yes, I agree as well. I think they should all get rid of them. They should all abolish themselves. It's just hilarious.
Okay, two more.
They're so crazy.
Two more super chats. On with the video. The Mechanist. They meet Nazis every day. It's called a reflection. Oh, they're always looking for themselves.
That's true.
I was looking for me the whole time. It's the perfect crime.
It's a philosophical moment. Okay.
Yeah, told you, Judge Pinky.
Joe Crazy. Fun fact, this dude used to work for MatPat? What did he do?
Sucked him off.
I think like writing or research or something.
Oh.
Kind of like a secondary thing.
MatPat doesn't do his own research?
He does no research.
That makes sense.
Wow, what a shocker.
Yeah. I'm going to give some money to some guy to tell me what to say.
The guy that created the video about how Wally's Satan because he's the one who brought the plant back to get people off the Paradisaic ship doesn't do his own research. I'm incredibly shocked by this turn of events.
Yeah, when he screwed up the villain or the final guy at Mass Effect 3, I was like, oh, you didn't actually play the game, did you, Matt?
Did he think Marauder Shields was the main bad guy?
No, he called the catalyst, he called it the Crucible. It was like, what?
Oh,
I was like, wait a second.
Retarded.
That's way off. How did you screw that up?
Hold the phone. This isn't right. Looks through all of Mass Effect stuff. Yes, it's actually the catalyst.
Yeah.
Oh, MatPat pays someone to go into Google. God, that's the easiest paycheck you're ever going to get.
If it's not research, what else would this what would this guy do for him? I don't have no idea.
I don't know. I don't want to say write jokes because no one writes jokes on MatPat because he's not funny. What would you do? I don't know. Hold a camera? No, you even hold a camera. I don't know.
Maybe check his grammar.
Do you think Comic Drake has the physical strength to be able to hold a camera up?
You know that slight pause in my sentence when I said it was me realizing what I had said. So no, I don't think he has the strength.
All right.
He probably animates like MatPat's face or something in the video. I don't know. I don't care. Why are we talking about this?
Anyway, let's go.
Animate.
We're good. It's okay.
Okay, yeah, let's go.
All your usual people are mad because Static is, quote, too political and too woke. Guys, I don't know if you know this, but Static, his original comics, Milestone Comics as a whole, have always been political.
Oh, shut! I hate that stupid talking point.
Right,
it's always been political. It's always just shut up.
Why do they always say this?
Right,
because they think that allegorical storytelling is exactly the same thing as putting Donald Trump's face on MODOK.
These people hey, pork has always been salty, so eat this salt lick.
I'm curious though what he means by political, because it seems as if the stories for Static Shock have to do with his family life, where he lives,
Yes.
Certain scenario. I'm sure there's some supervillains in here and there, and lots of fantastical stuff. But it sounds very down to earth.
They would say that is political because it's about life in the ghetto, and
that's not political.
But Static doesn't live in the ghetto.
And racism and blah blah blah. I know he doesn't. I'm just saying.
Well, you would think a guy called Comic Drake would know that, though.
It's this sophistry they always do with language, where they'll conflate, again, having a political theme, or having in-universe politics in the story with putting Donald Trump's face on MODOK, or random superheroes, what's her name, or turning the Absorbing Man into a misogynist for 3 panels for no reason. It's all the same.
Wasn't that? I think that was for female Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the main Absorbing Man was robbing a bank, and he's like, "Fucking, why is there a woman Thor? Fucking feminists ruin everything again." And
Which doesn't make any sense in story. Why would he think? What does that mean? Like, why would he think that feminism caused a female Thor? It doesn't.
But that's what I mean. He's right though. Like Absorbing Man, I think Absorbing Man is aware.
Yeah, in the real world, he's right. But
on a meta level, he's correct. But why would he say that in story? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So, but to people like Comic Drake, that's all the same thing.
Maybe if it was Deadpool saying it, because he's that whacked in the head.
Having complex in-world politics or discussing real-world issues in any sense, whether you give a definitive answer to a problem or not, it's all the same as fourth wall breaking rants about feminism that have nothing to do with what's going on in the narrative. So that's what he means when he says it's always been political. And that's why they always say this. And it drives me crazy.
Well, let's see
what
he has to say.
I have to assume that they know. They're being,
the way I see
it, I guess they could be stupid. I usually consider people like this actively malicious, not stupid.
The way I see it, they have an emotional reaction to the thing they like. So, they're talking about the belief that we all think is good, which is Black Lives Matter. I'm going to rationalize it by saying this is good and giving examples why. Therefore, I have a thought behind my feeling when it's really just a guttural reaction to, the thing I like. Therefore, it's good, as opposed to why is it good? What makes this thing good or not? It's pretty basic. The emotion is the key, and what comes after the emotion I have to justify, as opposed to the other way around. So there's no criteria for goodness. There's no criteria for understanding or quality or what is a value to attribute. It's all just, I have to describe that. It's good. And then you never assess it any further. You never have any other thought critically to understand it, which is sad. So anyway, let's keep going.
Notice, like I said, like I predicted, he said the usual suspects got upset about it. Like who?
Yeah.
Drake. Who did that?
People that just
show us some examples of people who did that. Show us some examples of people making the specific complaints you're bringing up. I want to see it. I don't believe you when you say the usual suspects.
That is what these people don't do. They might flash a tweet here and there by some far-leaning fellow, some extremist who says something crazy. It's never an actual argument.
Some of the tweets are just nothing.
Yeah, anyone with a brain can tell you that in those situations, that isn't everyone saying those kinds of things.
Yeah, and that's kind of the par for the course with these people. They don't take an actual argument and try to address it because they don't have the mental faculties to say, well, this is not even worth my time because he's totally wrong, and why even argue that?
This is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, that's the Cavernacle response. Everything that's not under my purview is ridiculous. There's no other interpretation.
Is ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. It's like, what's ridiculous?
Reading books?
The idea
that's ridiculous.
thinking that Metal Gear Solid isn't about socialism, that's just ridiculous. And you're like, man, just show us an example of something somewhere. It's like, nope, that's just ridiculous.
It's because it's anti-war. It's an anti-war story, so of course only socialists are opposed to war. Because
they're opposed to war, but in favor of genocide. Okay.
Socialist governments have been so famously peaceful, so you can understand why you would think that only socialists are anti-war, because they just want everybody to get along.
Yeah.
All right.
They just want everyone to get along, sing Kumbaya around a campfire, and it's okay, because we'll probably eat the people we'll starve.
Okay. We have 3 donations. I got to read them. They're a bit long. Here's Fritz first. They always say that comics have always been political because they know the difference between allegory and propaganda and want to not only blur the lines, but destroy the lines entirely. Anyway, Drake isn't a real comic fan, never has been or will be. I think he has a passion for it. I just think his biases get in the way of it. I think he does in fact like it.
That passion is incredibly misplaced.
Well, I think he actively likes the stuff. He also actively likes other stuff, which don't coincide well.
I mean specifically misplaced in terms of making shit arguments like this.
We'll hear what he has to say. We haven't gotten there yet. I'd like to hear him because we've all been reacting as we should.
No, you're right.
We'll get to his arguments. I want to hear them. Here's Tall Person for $10. Thank you, sir. That's the proper way to give money through the link there in the description. Go straight to my PayPal. That's always great. No YouTube involved. And I still read it, so Tall Person knows what's going on. The Static Shock cartoon still is good quality. Static tackled problems both in supervillainy and real-world issues. He dealt with the glamorization of the gang life, homelessness, dyslexia, just to name a few, and that's just from memory. You see, this is what is called good media or good entertainment. It has entertainment value, and it has a lesson to teach. I was actually in the comments of my Just Right video, because I don't know why people like harping on that even to today, saying that this one guy thinks stories do not entertain or teach. And I'm like, well, what do they do then?
What?
Okay. Stories don't entertain or teach. That's why all these lefty faggots are so like focused on exposing children to their degeneracy.
Yeah,
because stories don't teach.
I was trying to give examples, like a documentary is not supposed to entertain, but it can, but it's ultimately there to give you information. It's supposed to teach you.
But documentaries do entertain. You're watching like cheetahs rip apart small defenses, baby antelopes. I laugh my head off every day.
Well, that's what I mean. You can have entertaining documentaries, but the focus of that nature of the media is to teach. Whereas Transformers, it could give you a moral, it could give you an ethic, but I don't really care to pay attention because it's not about that. The focus is to blow stuff up and see things and robots fight. So there are reasons why media exists the way it does, why genre exists the way it does, and if you don't think it entertains you and teaches you on principle, on craft, on learning how to build a certain piece of genre like action adventure, and you're not being entertained by the action and adventure part, then you call that bad media or a bad movie or a bad book or whatever the case may be. And I'm just tired of arguing this because it's not really an argument. It's just that you look at the thing and you go, oh yeah, Bob, what happened last weekend? Well, I went out, we did this happened, and yada, yada, yada. Thank you. Thanks for the story.
Yeah.
That's it. I didn't want to be entertained. I just want to know what you did. Maybe he could make it entertaining by telling me jokes, telling me what he did was funny, but I'm not there to spend money to get a story from Bob about his amazing comical lifestyle on the weekend. It's not what I do. So there's stories for different people for different purposes. And if you don't understand the entertainment value of things and the lessons or morals or ethical teachings of things, because we've had that for thousands of years with oral traditions and written traditions, teach our kids what not to do and have them fear things for good reasons, then I don't know why you think stories are a thing then. What's the point? So anyway, let's not get into that because that's I deal with that every day. Yeah, it's silly. Anyway, Francis Ford Coppola, then we'll get back. A good story with politics weaved into the writing is like a romantic dinner and a passionate night with the themes. The sophistry and propaganda disguised as storytelling, this hemorrhoid likes is like being dragged into a black alley and graped in the ass. Capital G with the graped.
Grape you in the mouth.
Well,
tie up to the radiator.
I would argue if you like the thing, which is propaganda, and they give it to you, more power to you, more power to them. But the people who know the medium, who know the story, who know the character, can argue otherwise and explain why.
Yeah.
So this is it might be why they might be a bit perturbed over what's happening to their lovable character from 20, 30, 40 years ago. Okay, let's go.
What did you guys think his origin story was? From everything that I've read and watched, Static and most of the characters in Milestone Comics got their powers from the Big Bang, a meetup between rival gangs that was raided by the police, who fired an experimental tear gas that was laced with a radioactive tracking agent that was meant to mark everyone there. This excessive force and police carelessness led to a lot of problems. The most notable of which was mutating
I think it was the gang fight. I think it was the gang fight that led to it.
Their abilities being more or less the same, but now with zappy zap hands. Others ended up like Brick
the police using tear gas to break up a gang fight is not excessive force.
So correct me if I'm wrong, by the time the Big Bang actually happened, the police weren't even there yet.
The Big Bang happened because they shot the tear gas at him.
Was it even the tear gas that did it to them? I thought it was
it was an experimental tear gas. They were also having a fight next to a bunch of like radioactive bullshit.
Yeah, they used the tear gas and it combined with whatever toxic waste or whatever.
Also, just want to say, can we if you're going to say something, just pause the video, because he talks really fast in certain things and I'm missing a lot. I mean, I'm enjoying Bears going, no, and everything, but...
I don't think you're really missing anything.
My only problem is that I'm currently playing Tekken, so I can't really, pause super quick.
I'm playing Red Dead right now, and I'm pausing the video.
Yeah, Hawk, you're watching the video on your phone, and you're playing Red Dead on your console. I'm playing Tekken on my PC. Yes, you're watching the video on your phone.
No, I'm watching the video on my console and playing Red Dead on my phone.
Okay, if that's what you heard, then get the potatoes out your ears.
He's got that fancy schmancy Google Stadium thing going.
No, Hawk's not that much of a loser.
No, I have had sex with a woman, yes. That is true.
All right, let's go.
Up like bricks, a girl that was fused with a brick wall. So why was Virgil there? I mean, he's not in a gang. Well, that's because Virgil was violently bullied at school on a regular basis and got his hands on a gun that he was going to use to shoot his tormentor. So, yeah, I don't know how anyone can look at the issues of gang violence, police brutality, government tracking, and gun violence all within the first issue and first episode of the show and come to the conclusion that the Static series isn't political.
Wait a second.
Because the issues of gang violence and all of those things you're talking about are not contemporary social movements. They're ongoing issues, and this is setting the stage. It is topical. It's world issues that are happening in story. It is not an out-of-universe social movement that is being crowbarred in to preach a particular message.
Yeah,
it's here's what happened because of these real-world issues. And okay, what? It's saying gang violence is bad. Okay.
I always love how the police breaking up a gang violence is classed as police brutality. It's like, what are the police supposed to do in a situation where two gangs are fighting? Wave little white flags and go, please stop, be nice little boys, or you'll get smack bottoms. What do you want?
Also slap you in the wrists. Yeah, no.
Yeah, whisper charge at him, tippy toe up, and tickle him with feather dusters. What do you want the police to do? There's fucking... Oh, we shot tear gas that had some stuff in it. Yeah, but also Static Shock takes place in the DC universe.
Well, now.
But also, either, me not knowing anything, so ignore that last point.
Well,
but it's one of those things where it's like just they're shooting tear gas into a gang violence. What do you want the police to do? Do you want the police just sit by and let the gang violence rip everyone to pieces? Probably, because you're fucking a communist cunt who wants the world to collapse. But well, the rest of us are sane.
I think this is a problem of categorization, because he's saying because there's gangs, because there's a guy who has a gun and he's in school, and you could call this school shooting, you could call this all sorts of things. This is just a setup to a story. This could be any story. A school shoot? Yeah, this has nothing to do with politics, as far as I can see. It's kind of like telling a story of what happens on the news in the evenings. And there's a shooter. We don't know what happened, and here's a comic book kind of going over that. What could have happened if someone pulled the trigger in a back alley somewhere? So this is not political. This is just violence. This is the set, and lots of stories have violence, and whether it's contemporary settings or medieval, that's not a political issue. So I don't know what he's framing this.
Well, his point, like I said, is that to him, these issues are political issues because him and people like him use the broadest possible definition of the word political to essentially mean anything related to how society functions. Mm-hmm. It's how they can justify calling all art political, because they say whether or not there's a political message in it, it was made in a certain place with certain sensibilities and certain cultural mores under certain circumstances. So inherently it's political because the political situation of wherever it was made allowed it to happen that way.
That's funny.
They use the most broad and essentially meaningless definition of the word political.
Yeah.
So that they can basically justify equating in-universe politics with MODOK having Donald Trump's face. And I'm going to keep going back to that because the reaction was the same when people complained about that and it being really ham-handed and stupid, that they did some Elseworld where MODOK was Donald Trump.
Okay. Well, there are instances where you could say a book is politically influenced or motivated. I do know one of my favorite books, my science fiction book of all time, is Roadside Picnic, and it was written by two guys in Soviet Russia, and they couldn't get it published there for obvious reasons. And they had to wait, I think it was like 10 or 12 years when they finally immigrated to wherever they eventually sat, and published then, because they wouldn't allow other things outside of the state to publish whatever they wanted. But the story itself is not necessarily political, but you can certainly tell as a result of their lifestyle living in a Soviet state, some of the elements of not a totalitarian regime, but the setting of Roadside Picnic. If you guys don't know Roadside Picnic, it's the influence that was the Stalker series for video games.
Yeah.
So that is like this futuristic world where there's this event that just changes the way we look at physics, and it's like this zone where everything's magical and weird, and science can explain it, and objects can do magical things essentially. So everyone's looking for these artifacts, and it's a very dangerous spot, but it's changing how we look at the world. So these brothers were like, it's only a 4-chapter story, so it's a very simple story, but the way it was written, and there's some elements in there, you go, you know what, this was probably written over the course of a few years, because it's so unique that you would say something caused this to happen. But they could have written this in non-communist political world regime or whatever, and I still would have to wrap my brain around. I'm sure which would have come out differently, but it's not about that. It's not about being in that world. And I think if it was published a lot earlier, or more freely, it would have been an even better story, because they were no longer, hiding it and shipping it to cousins so no one else could find it. So all this contraband, you can't have non-state approved literature and all this other shit they had to deal with. So there's always the whole starving artist mentality where you have to strive to make better art, and I agree with that. But another thing is to be persecuted and hiding your sentences and your papyrus from the authorities just to get a publication going is kind of strange. So
yeah, that wonderful utopia of communism, but you can't even release books.
It's a sad
Isn't
state
it great,
of affairs.
guys?
So,
yeah, and this is what people like this guy wants, and it's like,
All right, we got some donations and super chats going, and we're getting right back to the video. To Tim 505, did you know that Postal is on the Switch? Well, Nintendo, look at that. Yeah.
Oh,
interesting.
Yeah, branching out with the old Postal game. Oh.
Cool.
It's not for everyone, but if you want to use a cat as a silencer,
old games.
Yeah, if you want to use a cat as a silencer, go for it. It's a fun game.
Yeah.
Tyler Preston, thank you. The Big Bang was actually orchestrated by the supervillain Dr. Nathan Flack, or Dr. Nemo, the first Bang Baby. The police had no idea that the experimental tear gas had Q juice in it, which either gives people powers or died a horrible death. Jeez. Nice. Well, that's a supervillain.
Yeah, a lot of them. There are a small. I think, if I remember correctly, there is a small number of them that did die that night, and the rest are the ones that got the superpowers, right? Yep.
Okay. I don't know. And here's Mike Testa. As always, Mike, you're a little late, but hey, how's it going? Spud, my foresight called you would do this today. Really? Isn't it public? Aren't all the voting public, Mike? Can't.
Yeah.
You don't need foresight.
You can't just say I predicted this would happen, because you can see what's going to be voted for.
Yeah.
You can vote for the stuff as well.
Yeah, it's a democratic process, Mike. You just go to the channel and you just click on the letter you like, and that represents the video we're going to watch. So, thank you, Mike Testa. As always, it's Mike Testa. Anyway, let's go.
In the Virgil and several other student activists were peacefully protesting the murder of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, but were met with violent counter-protesters, and the police came in to fire the aforementioned experimental tear gas to break
violent counter-protesters.
Lots of people have been taken to Twitter to talk about how Static's original creators would have been appalled to see how their creation is being used to talk about modern-day politics.
Look at that, we got two.
Even though that's always what Static has done. I mean, yes, the face of the company, Dwayne McDuffie, did pass away, but the other Milestone founders are alive, well, and directly involved with the reboot. From creator Dennis Cohen, quote, "We felt it was very necessary to tell stories that are relevant for today. Black people are being murdered. That's not something we're going to sit back and not say."
I love this.
Yeah, there's a thing.
Oh, he's wrong. And
yeah, but hold on, there's just one thing I'm going to say before you go into your rant. Have you noticed how they say the stories are relevant for today? Because they know the shit that they're spouting will not last the test of time.
Yeah. Because it's not like gang violence and people shooting each other are not time sensitive issues. They're not. Yeah. They're timeless. They're still happening.
So this is what I mean. It's a clear sign that what they are writing only works today because it is propaganda. Because propaganda it does age. Does age. You look at the Nazi propaganda. People don't. You look at it, you think, how did people look at this and think this was any good and stuff like that? Whereas in good stories are timeless. It's like why people can still sit down and watch the first Star Wars, even though it's 40 odd years old. It's why people can still read Shakespeare. It's why people can, still read about, Troy and stuff. Whereas in this new Static Shock, it works for 2021 or 2020, and then that's it. It doesn't work for anything else. It's so out of time. So whenever you hear that we want it to be relevant to today, what we're trying to say is we know we're writing shit. This ain't gonna last long unless we keep making today never. As long as we make tomorrow today, it'll be okay, and hence they'll just keep doing the same shit they keep doing.
I hope this is the actual person he was referring to, Dennis Cohen. Here's his Twitter bio: producer, storyteller, creator, artist, and Dennis Cohen at gmail.com. Or DennisOwenArt@gmail.com. No mention of pronouns. Not sure where he got that from, because if you actually look at the video...
Are you saying Comic Drake's being disingenuous? What a shock.
I don't know why he's doing that, because this is a very specific thing people do on Twitter. Maybe it's done on Tumblr, I don't know. But why would you need to specify pronouns when this is clearly a man?
Because Comic Drake's a fucking cunt.
Also, I would like to point out that Static, he said Dwayne McDuffie is dead. And these two other guys who founded Image Comics, or Milestone Comics rather, are still alive, and they're working on this new Static revival, right?
Right.
They did not create Static. They did not help create Static. Dwayne McDuffie created Static with, hold on, what's his name here? John Paul Leon. These two guys he's talking about were not part of Static's creation. They're just people who helped found Milestone Comics.
Yeah, they never even gave a glance to Static during the height of his popularity.
And Dwayne McDuffie also created Icon, another black superhero who was explicitly, deliberately a conservative Republican.
Sorry, Beth, go on.
If I remember correctly, he's been alive for a good 200 some odd years.
Something like that.
He started out as a slave, and he joined with the Republican Party because they were the ones that freed the slaves, and he stayed with them as he grew older and everything.
Yeah. I also like this quote that's up here. Black people are being murdered. That's not something we're going to sit back and not say anything about. We're going to speak about what's important to us. Yeah, well, maybe stop letting black people murder black people.
That's not.
Yeah, I know. So what you're actually doing is you're actually just going to sit back and not do anything. You'll talk, but you'll not do anything. So well done. Oh well.
Okay, I think this quote.
Murder.
I'm just trying to find the quote because it's kind of strange. I just found something. Let me see if I can read it for you guys. Let me just bring it up. Okay. Kicking off a superhero universe at a Black Lives Matter rally gave precisely the sort of relevance Hudlin and Milestone co-founder Dennis Cohen wanted. We felt it was very necessary to tell stories that are very relevant today, says Cohen, who created Static with the other Milestone founders in 1993. Black people are being murdered. That's not something we're going to sit back and not say anything about. We're going to speak about what's important to us. The times demanded we start with what's happening in the real world. We have to be relevant. Tragically, that means police brutality and lack of accountability in our justice system. So that's Hudlin talking here.
Derek Chauvin got 22 and a half years, by the way. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, the only people who seem to be getting off of everything are leftists. So, so it's quite clear that there is a problem with the judicial system, but the problem is the fact that it's quite clearly biased towards left-leaning views and left-leaning people. So,
yeah, there's a very short interview or whatever quote is happening here on this, where I found it. I could be not the main source, but it's not that big. He's not that politically motivated. He's just, I want to tell stories that are relevant to people today, and we have protests going on. And this was, let me see, what date is this? I can't even tell.
Yeah, but the problem with superheroes is the minute you start telling things that are relevant to a certain time period, you age that product.
Yeah.
So you automatically. So my point is, you're not trying to make a timeless product or something that you want to sell, forever. What you're doing is you're just literally making a small piece of propaganda.
I don't see a date, but I'm assuming last year. That's when BLM and all the other crazy things were happening. So I'm assuming last year. Anyway, it's not important, but it's just like one quote out of the entire article where the other guy just talks. So Anyway, not a big deal.
Say anything about. I'm going to speak about what's important to us. Maybe I'm just a little naive, but I feel like it's a dumb move to tell the creator of Static that he doesn't understand his own character.
Wayne McDuffie's dead, you retard.
Yeah, Cohen is not a creator of Static, you numbnut.
All right.
He had nothing to do with the creation of Static. He just helped start the company that Static was published under. He did not create Static.
Right.
Yeah.
And cartoon, I do actually wish the reboot stuck with the gang warfare angle. But at the same time,
because it's more timeless than this nonsense.
To update their characters to better reflect the modern era.
Do you think there's no gang violence anymore?
Even if they stuck with the original origin story, there would still be a massive outcry from people about the series being too political.
Massive.
We've seen it time and time again with these people who think that political
massive outcry. You showed us 2 comments.
Political.
You showed 2 Twitter comments, and you notice he hid the likes, retweets, and comments on those 2 Twitter comments.
Maybe those people are really fat.
This is exactly what I said was going to happen.
Yeah, no.
We're getting a nebulous people and 2 Twitter comments.
Okay.
And yeah, that nice little telling the creator that he doesn't know the character. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing that, Drake, because Dwayne McDuffie is dead, and the guy we're talking about didn't create the character. And you know that. You would have found it while you were looking this up, and you know it, and you still worded it this way in your video, which means you are a liar.
Yeah, I gave you the 5 writers that are well known: Dwayne McDuffie, Paul Dini, John Ridley, Stan Berkowitz, and Adam Beechin. The new ones that haven't been recorded yet, to any fame or to any feedback that I can see. So he's not even in there, the guy who created the company. So
because he's not one of the writers of Static, and he didn't create Static.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can tell him he doesn't understand the character because he didn't create the character. And again, Drake knew this. He has to have known this. This is why I said this is why I said at the beginning that I assume malice instead of stupidity. It's stuff like this.
I think he's justifying
gives it away.
I think he's justifying his emotion.
Lying.
I think he's justifying his emotion that he likes the thing, therefore he's seeking out relevant sources.
Oh, I couldn't care if he liked fucking blowjobs behind the fucking Crystal nightclub or something. If he's gonna lie about shit, it's fucking disingenuous, and it's fucking ridiculous. A simple Google search proves the guy wrong. Sorry, I had an outburst there. Carry on, guys. Sorry about that. I'll stop drinking.
It's like Bill Gates espousing the virtues of Windows when he didn't invent it. He just paid other people to make Windows for him. It's like Bill had nothing to do with the creation of Windows. I'm sure he might have bought people or hired people to build it for him, but no, he didn't. He didn't do any coding. No, I don't think so. Anyway,
the bloke couldn't even code his wife to stay with him.
Well, he did. So. He did do Microsoft or MS DOS back in the day, but that's about all. His claim to fame is at that one meeting which changed his life forever. Instead of IBM, they went with this new kid to make an operating system for their hardware. So, but after that, no, he didn't do much coding. Anyway,
even though Paul has always been a part of that. I can't tell you how many times that a character of color comes onto the scene, and then you get dozens of comments about how Stan Lee is rolling in his grave, despite the fact that Stan Lee
You're right, you can't tell us
diversity
that
and vocal
because
about
it doesn't
too.
happen.
Even outside of diversity, though, there are countless instances of superheroes getting political, from Superman becoming friends with JFK, the entirety of the X-Men, the right-wing versus
Superman became friends with the President of the United States. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, what's that? That's not being political. That's just him being. What the fuck is this actually on?
It's like I said. It's political because it relates to the governance of society in some way, shape, or form. It's political because JFK was the president.
Yeah.
That's what makes it political to him.
Yeah.
It's not that it took a particular stance. It's not that it preached a message, however ham-fistedly. It's that there are politics. It's that there is something in the story related to human governance, so it is political.
Yeah, like the American military, therefore it's political.
Yeah,
he would say that. He would say depicting the military is a political statement.
Oh.
A man in the suit, because looks like a politician, is political. Because only politicians wear suits inside.
All right, we have some super.
And I love, like you said, every time a character of color say colored.
Just say
it's the same thing.
Yeah, but no, just admit that you don't see colored people as people. You just see them as political tools, where their entire existence is just to be white soy boy. Virtue signaling points. Going, look at me, I'm friends with these N-words, and you're like, oh, yeah, okay, cool.
Well, Robin DiAngelo just put out a new book about that. Did anybody see that? She wrote her big follow-up to White Fragility.
No, I don't want to.
Anyway, but like he said, whenever a character of color is introduced, there are hundreds of comments saying, oh, it's so political. Show some of them.
Yeah.
Show some of them. They do this all the time. It's always, there's a woman in the game, there's a non-white person in the game, in the story, whatever. Oh, it's too political now. But they can never actually show that people saying that the issue is the existing characters and not the context.
Yeah.
Like with the Battlefield 5 trailer. They're like, oh, there's a woman in the game. It's too political now because there's women in it. It's not because there's women in it. It's called context.
Yeah.
There's women in this trailer fighting on the front lines in World War II. That didn't happen. It didn't happen. It was put in the game deliberately by the creators as a political statement.
Mm-hmm.
Part of their commitment to inclusion.
Mm-hmm.
In their supposedly historically accurate shooter franchise. And people always will show like dumb shit happening in the multiplayer to show that it's not realistic, where they'll conflate gameplay concessions to make it not a terrible slog to play with story changes. It's like this is what they do.
It wasn't
this
just
is what him and people like him do.
And it wasn't just the female aspect. It was also she was an amputee with a fake arm firing a gun. It was just like, whoa, you're really doubling down on your.
Yeah, and what they'll always do, not necessarily him, but a lot of people like this, they'll be like, oh well, if it was realistic, you would get shot and be dead and never come back, because again, they'll conflate gameplay concessions with story changes. Like when in Battlefield 5 specifically, there's a whole mission in Norway that in real life was done by a team of like commandos, Norwegian commandos, and in the game is a woman and her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
In their supposedly historically accurate campaign.
It just pisses me off, because a lot of the Norway stuff is done by the Brits and everything, and we really do not get a lot of credit for shit that happened before 1941 with the war, and it's just and now like British soldiers died with stuff, and they get replaced by some fucking woman.
Yeah, just a woman and her daughter who somehow sabotaged a bunch of anti-naval artillery.
Yeah,
this woman and her daughter took on a platoon of Nazi soldiers.
And then there's Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, well, Assassin's Creed is completely different.
Like,
I mean,
you'll notice
Assassin's Creed starting with Odyssey. So,
well,
yeah, when the first time you could ever play as a woman in a video game, you'll notice that they never will bring up. People like him will never bring up, say, the Fate series, where they gender swap a bunch of historical characters. They'll never bring up people complaining about that being too political, because they don't complain about that, even though there's a bunch of women who are not women in real life, including the face of the entire franchise, because of context. In context, there is a reason. There is no reason in context for why you replaced a team of commandos with a woman and her daughter.
Yeah.
Oh, Hawk.
That is always what the complaint is. There is no reason in context why Heimdall should be black.
Uh-huh.
Hawk,
there is no reason in context for this.
My phone just popped up with the article from the Escapist magazine about what you said regarding the book that BioWare will never fix.
Oh, Deception.
It just popped. Like, it was so funny.
Yeah.
Is that the same article that? Yeah, it was. The one that you referenced before.
Oh yeah, I read that article. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
just got it.
As if it were destiny.
Marky piece of shit. Stop.
All right.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's Google looking at all. That's Google recording all.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Voice activated. It's like, well, we gotta send it to everyone now. All right.
Real time recommendation.
Here's Mike.
That's my. Oh yeah,
we gotta go. Yeah, Mike Testa. No, I just saw this and knew it was today's video. Thank you, Michael.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw it too, and I knew it was today's video. Okay.
I saw it too as well. Sure, I'm in. So
here's Mike. Here's Mike Testicles on the donation. He's switching to donations now. Thank you, Mike. Christ, why is this homo just carrying around an empty coffee mug? He doesn't drink from it. It's empty. Does he need it to do something with his friends? Is he trying to look smart? This is what Wisp was referring to. There's this sort of psychological thing of holding something, keeping it close to yourself. He's busy. He's a homie. He's easy to.
He's a homo, yes.
He's no homie. he's easy.
I said what I said.
Easy to relate to, that sort of thing. That's this psychological
holding
tool.
an empty coffee mug with Monopoly money on it.
I'm just imagining Bears just after saying homie and someone's like homie and Bears is like, did I fucking stutter? I said what I said.
I'm remembering
much like Monopoly money. This guy's opinions are worthless.
I'm remembering the Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson, and it was always water in his snake mug, and it was just so bizarre. He's like, "What are you drinking out of?" Like, delicious water. That's all it is. Okay. So anyway, Tyler Preston. In the original Static comic, there was a villain named Commando X, who was a black supremacist who was bombing a Jewish temple, causing a riot between the black and the Jews. The entire story portrayed him in the wrong. Yes, comics do this all the time, and it's totally normal. It happens in all kinds of comics, all kinds of books, all kinds of novellas, spy action, adventure, superhero. It's just, you want to have all kinds of things happening which are exciting and dangerous and violent. So
wow, it's almost like Dwayne McDuffie could write nuanced and subtle stories with varying points of view and characters in them.
It's not just the comic book genre, it's also the romance genre. It's also all sorts of genres where death or violence is a key factor in the story. So just because they have these elements, like we have these elements in the news every day, because they happen in real life, doesn't make it some political message. It's just a tragic, dangerous, scary, interesting, I hate using that word, but interesting thing that happens in life. Okay.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Life is so ridiculous.
I'm going to
the hit sequel to Life is Strange, starring the Tabernacle.
Yeah. Anyway.
Cavernacle recoils because he is given the superpower of empathy.
Yeah. Feelings. Oh
That
my
man
God.
just.
Other people think differently than I do. What do I do? Mike Testa. He's on the super chat again. I be moving to Streamlabs.
Yeah, I think.
YouTube's,
Okay, I'm sorry.
YouTube's upping chat. What is that? A scale? What is that? Is that? Oh, it's a money sign. Okay, or a money icon. Yes.
Yeah.
If you're gonna donate to me, that's the best way. I said it before, but thank you, Mike, if you're doing that. Fritz, $1 donation, no problem. Thank you. Delicious historical revisionism and censorship. Remember, guys, if anyone ever tells you that something was always X, that says more about them than it does about you.
What?
Yeah, my thing is a lot of the stuff in regards to like the war is the fact that my great grandfather actually fought in the Second World War and was a prisoner of war in Japan for 4.5 years, and he was like really badly tortured with shit, and it's like people just revise all that stuff, and like it's just kind of disgusting, to be honest, what these progressives do to brave men who sacrifice themselves. So, anyway.
All right, so we got Mike Testa super chatting that he's down. I don't know what's going on with there. Mike, are you okay?
Like Mike is down. Repeat, Mike Testa is down.
Oh my god.
Is there
Black Mike down?
Is there some sort of drama happening on your side of the screen there, Mike?
Oof.
I feel like there's a story happening in Mike Testa's world that we in the Smudcast just have a little glimpse into every 10 minutes. We're just like, what the?
Yeah.
What is going on?
What's going on? Yeah, it's one of those things where you just felt like, yeah.
Not sure.
Yeah,
I feel like Mike
the super chats he's ever sent are just part of one gigantic puzzle.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It might be code. It could be one giant code that, as a whole, means something completely different from the context of chat to chat, which is confusing enough. So we have to figure that out.
Yes,
Are we starting to like say that Mike Testa's like Yorkshire off or something, or some sort of Lovecraftian entity? We just can't comprehend.
I still think it's crazy grammar, but yeah. Anyway,
if Mike Testa turns out to be living in like Dunwich or something, I'm out. We're all fucked.
Anyway, one more donation. Let's get on with it. Francis Bortocoppola. I think Commando X was based off of Al Sharpton, who incited a riot and the rioters lynched some Jews. Whoa. Al Sharpton is he still around as a political activist?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
And he is well known as being extremely anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. Anyway, 3:30. We're doing all right. Could do better, but let's keep going.
Green Arrow, in America renouncing the United States after the Watergate scandal, and so much more. But Milestone Comics especially was a company that had politics baked into every aspect of their publications, being created for the sole purpose of giving more diverse representation in mainstream superhero comics, and constantly featuring and discussing the modern...
I really don't think that's what happened in the 90s. 1993?
No.
All
I know is everything in the 90s is right-wing to these left-wing nut jobs anyway, so why are we bringing this up?
The early 90s when Spawn came out, like that was a big deal. Like that was a different way of doing things because it wasn't by the big two. So it was another publication coming out, and it was really high quality, and no one was expecting that. And the variants on the cover and all these the adult story, like whoa, this is serious stuff. Not to say the stories were great or anything, but they actually had more mature content and very well drawn panels. So I don't remember this publishing house though. Maybe it was just because I was in Canada.
Well, Milestone was Dwayne McDuffie's
right
publishing house that he made to specifically tell stories about black superheroes because that was his thing. He wanted to tell stories about black superheroes, which is why people don't have a problem with these existing characters, because he did what people are always saying, what the people Drake is complaining about are always saying you should do. He made his own characters.
Yeah.
Instead of taking other people's and changing them, he made his own. And I think what Drake is talking about here, about all of these instances of comics being political through the past, kind of brings up another issue I have where when people say, oh, comics have always been political. All of these things are things that happened, things he's talking about. They can all be bad.
Mm-hmm.
They can all have been poor creative decisions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
More than one thing, new things and old things can be bad. Mm-hmm. They probably are. Captain America renouncing the United States because of Watergate. That sounds terrible.
That just sounds like hippy dippy bullshit, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that sounds like a terrible storyline, especially because spying on your political opponents. First of all, he renounced America. He didn't renounce America because of like really awful things that the American government has done. It was because Richard Nixon spied on the Kennedys.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh no.
That was par for the course. It still is par for the course in politics.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, wouldn't you realise that Kennedy was probably banging Marilyn Monroe? Wouldn't you want to spy on what he was doing?
It's not just that. The Democratic campaign was also spying on the Republicans. Kennedy spied on the Republicans. That's a thing that happened.
The Kennedys,
see, John F. Kennedy and Robert Kennedy are both pretty romanticized in American politics. They were awful people. Yeah. From an awful family.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's like he was just they were awful.
So this sounds like a terrible storyline that was written by a hack.
Sounds like someone who just supported the Kennedys wrote it, and it's like, oh, what a shocker. Political bias again.
And
political bias that too.
The thing is, we also know, even more specifically, besides the fact that it's been par for the course in American politics for a long time, and worse to spy on your campaign opponent, we know Obama did the same thing in 2016.
Yeah.
The denial about it has never been about whether or not it's happened. It's been whether or not the warrant that he received to do it was justified or not. Although people did say it didn't happen because they said there was no wiretap placed on Trump's phone.
Yeah, that's not. There's a thing called political espionage.
It's because there wasn't a literal wiretap on Trump's phone, it wasn't the same thing.
But we have a term for it. That means it must have been happening for so long if the human race has got a term for something. Like corporate espionage exists. Espionage exists for everything. Just because your side is getting, spied on, doesn't mean it's automatically bad because you're spying on the other side.
And once again, Drake is making all of these points about people's reactions to this and how they don't know and how they are ignorant of all of this and how they do this and they do that. And we've seen 2 Twitter comments with the interactions hidden. Exactly like I said was going to happen. It's just people. It's them. It's the usual suspects. He's making a point against no one.
Yeah. No, he's making a point against the people he's imagined are the problem. The imaginary threat. And that's the problem. This is the thing with these people. They have an imaginary threat, and it doesn't. And anybody who even remotely looks or sounds like this imaginary threat must be that threat, even though they're nothing alike. So that's why he just picks out a few Twitter things, because it's like those are the only ones that fit his definition of those people.
All right. Here is the Mechanist. The only good Kennedy is the Dead Kennedys. Is that a show? What is that?
Oh, it's a band.
The Dead Kennedys, the band, Holiday in Cambodia.
Ah.
The Dead Kennedys.
Yeah.
The Dead Kennedys who unironically praised the work of the CIA recently.
Hold on. The Dead Kennedys, as they are now, are just a bunch of fucking sellouts since Jello Biafra got kicked out of the band. The lead singer, he got kicked out. He got kicked out of the band because he refused to do. Number one, he refused to do allow like Pepsi or Nike or something to use their song for an advert, because he just hates big corporations. The band got pissy and then made out that he'd been hiding money from him, so they kicked him out. And since then, he's like gone his own way, and he's like really anti-government, he's proper like an anarchist now. While the guitarist, bassist, and drummer are like fucking sucking up to the Democrats left, right, and centre. They literally love big government. They love they're like anti-punk now.
Yeah, it's like Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
I always love hearing about Rage Against the Machine and how they're like anti-establishment and everything, and like they've played the Democratic National Convention like 3 times.
Rage Against the Machine, fuck you, won't do what you told me, is now fuck you, do what the government tells you.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, I'm gonna do what you tell me. Fuck yeah, I'm gonna do what you tell me.
Yeah, I love that. It's like, that's terrific stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And when Paul Ryan, the former what was he, the Senate Majority Leader, I think. I can't remember. He's a Republican senator, or he was. I don't remember if he is anymore. Or maybe whatever he was. Somebody asked him who his favorite band was once, and he said it was Rage Against the Machine. And people were like, doesn't he know that he's exactly what they're talking about in their music? How does he like them when they all hate him? It's like the constant amazement from the left wing that conservatives could like something and disagree with the message in it.
It's just ridiculous.
It apparently continues to boggle the left-wing mind that a conservative could interact with a piece of media, correctly understand the message in it, and disagree. They either think that conservatives don't know what the message is.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Dead Kennedys. I absolutely adore them, even though I'm like, in my 20s. I don't agree with what they do now, because they are literally just government stooges who. It's kind of embarrassing, really, what we do. But I still love their music, even though nowadays they don't believe in any of the songs that they actually originally sang. They're completely the opposite of what they sang. Like the song California Über Alles is like, they are now the people they were singing about in that song. That song's wonderful, about the woke left, about the hippies taking over your schools, taking over your politics, and like, you'll be like, fascists are coming in different sizes and different shapes, and it's like you won't realize until they're taking your niece away for wrong thing and turning her into a lamp, like we did in Auschwitz, and it's like, wow, really dark.
All right, here is Francis Ford Coppola. Razor Fist put it best: these days, Rage Against the Machine rages perfectly in tandem and in service of the machine. Also, the lead singer praised Fidel Castro as a third world hero. Hope he ODs. Oh my god.
Yeah, they also said that they considered Che Guevara as an unofficial member of the band. Like,
What?
Get fucked. Yes.
Yeah, they are. This is the thing. They are so fucking out their minds. I think the drugs really took a toll in the 90s on these people because they're just thick as fuck now.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. No matter what, I might appreciate that the singer is a bit more consistent in his anarchist principles than the rest of the band. It doesn't make any of them good people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, here's the Mechanist again. I was trying to make a pun, never heard their stuff. Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, the rest of us have
brains. The only good Kennedy is a dead Kennedy.
Yeah.
I mean, in Minecraft.
I will actually say give them a listen because it's early 80s, but the stuff still, like, it's funny how it still, like, resonates today with the stuff they're talking about, because they're literally talking about, like, thought crimes and stuff with people, and it's like, wow.
It's funny how when you focus more on giving a particular point of view instead of making reference to contemporary issues, that it makes your stuff more timeless.
Yeah. I mean, Holiday in Cambodia is literally about Pol Pot and the Cambodian genocide, and about how stuck-up uni students go out there, take photos, think they're doing something. In reality, they don't know anything because daddy's paid for all their shit, and they just want to be communists until they get captured, and then they get killed, and their head gets put on a spike because communism kills everybody. And I'm like, wow, that song still resonates today because that's literally what's happening. So,
all right, well, let's try.
The dead Kennedys hated everybody. So
let's try and get halfway through this.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, let's get going.
Problems that they were facing at the time, and which in many cases still persist to this day. I mean, hell, the first book that the company published was Hardware, which opens with the titular hero literally being a black man shattering a glass ceiling. They were not subtle about it in the slightest. Static.
That's not a glass ceiling. That's a skylight.
Wow.
Yes, so A, it's a skylight, and B, the glass ceiling is not used in relation to black people. It's used in relation to women. So it's not a working visual metaphor.
Yeah, because just saying someone smashing through a glass ceiling is a metaphor for things is stupid, because I've watched a billionaire dressed as a bat smash through tons of windows and stuff, and it's like, what's that meant to mean? That's such a
may be correct here. Like, that may have been the author's intention. I don't know. I'd have to see if there's an interview or something from
somebody somewhere.
Wayne McDuffie or whoever wrote this issue. But
yeah, see, it's really great when you quote people. Like, that one quote he got does give his argument some credence, but not to the thing he was trying to make a point about, which is strange. So if he can keep doing that, again, these quotes help. Doesn't mean they're going to work, but it's better than him just saying, it's a literal glass ceiling, and he shows a picture of a skylight. He's like, okay, buddy. Anyway.
In the slightest. Static, being the most high-profile and successful book that Milestone had put out, was no stranger to handling these difficult and timely issues as well. Like, what about the LGBT protests, where the police are extremely candid about what they think of them? Or how about the 3-issue arc of Static having to de-escalate racial tension, which literally opens with Static thinking to himself, okay, Virgil, how do you stop a race riot fast? Not political, right?
It's a riot. It could be any kind of riot.
No,
it's a riot specifically about race. Like, if it had just been a riot, like, how do I stop a riot fast?
But again, what is it like? Who is saying it's never been political? Is the issue that it's too political, or is the issue that it's too ham-handed? Is the issue that it's too dated because it's specifically about BLM is what is the issue? This is the problem when all you're doing is quoting vague masses of people you don't like, is you get to attack whatever position you want to because there's no person advocating for something. There's people. There's them.
Yeah.
How do we know that the complaint is that it wasn't political before? Because we don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
These are all hypothetical categories of a group that he's referring to. Same with when we argue with people online, they never reference specifically an example, because when they do, then you could point to that example, say, where in this example are you talking about? Where's the time code? What was the word in the time? Like, give me the exact thing that ticked you off and why it's bad. And I was doing this with, was it Steven Crowder? Whatever he said last week with the Ethan bullshit. And all these people were calling me defenders of, like, I don't even watch Steven Crowder. I was like, what are you talking? Like, I just watched the 20-minute clip unedited. It's like, yeah, he went online to argue with Ethan. Ethan pulled a bait and switch, and baited him with some guy who I don't even know who that was to argue with.
It's a guy that Steven Crowder hates and who has been like blacklisted by a bunch of different people because he's a disingenuous piece of shit.
Yeah, I was under the impression he didn't like him. That was fine. And I'm sitting there going, like, he has no obligation to talk to this guy. He wasn't signed up to do this. Ethan came to him to ask him to debate him one-on-one. They agreed, and then he lied to him. So he has every right to say, fuck you. I'm making fun of this situation. Oh, he's so scared. He was there laughing at him for like 15 minutes. Just ribbing.
Also, Steven Crowder, like, pretty much predicted that he'd do something similar.
Yeah, he said he
said Sam Cedar literally before they connected for the video.
Yeah, it was like a friend of Sam Cedar or an advocate of Sam Cedar, not specifically him, but Sam Cedar associate or whatever. So it's like, yeah, he was predicting that Ethan would just pick someone else because he couldn't believe Ethan would debate because Ethan is an idiot. And Ethan's even said he was an idiot. And I'm thinking, okay, so here you have this self-avowed idiot pulling shit like this, doing something nefarious. I don't know. Does he do this? I don't watch his show, so I'm guessing this is part
of... Ethan, I watched his interview with Jordan Peterson, and there's nothing in Ethan's head at all. He's a fucking... But there's no... Whenever he says I'm going to have a debate, it's like, no, he's not. So...
And the thing is that the definition of debate... People have their own definition. Well, a debate is just two people arguing. It's like, no, a formal debate is very different from the Change My Mind segments where Steven just sits down with anyone and just talks to them. And
oh no, haven't you heard the narrative about that is that he ambushes unprepared college students.
He ambushes them by sitting at a table.
By sitting down and yes, exactly. That's ambushing unprepared college students.
He has a book.
Or they'll put up pictures of like the times he'll go and confront people as him ambushing them for debates, leaving out that the videos where he does that is him confronting people who made like violent threats against him, like actual violent threats, not like someone saying, someone DMing you KYS, which like that for me, I think my guess is that that's most of the time when people say they got death threats, what they got was people saying KYS or whatever.
At least half of the New Zealand threats that I got were let's just kill yourself. It's like, okay.
Well, cool, I just find this whole idea of like not understanding the scenario and just going, look, I don't care for either of these guys. This is what we talk about objective criticism or critical analysis, where you have a third party come in and assess the situation and go, I don't know the background of these guys. I don't care. It's not relevant. What's happening in this scenario? Someone promised something. They wanted it, and then they lied. That's it. That's all there is. Everything else is just gobbledygook, and it has nothing to do with the assessment of the scenario. So these are the kinds of talks that we have with people a lot, and they seem to be rather biased in their analysis and understanding of the facts. Happens every day for me, at least because of my channel. and
Yeah.
it's becoming. I have to write books over this crap because it's so frequent, and people are just so biased, and I don't want to be the guy who just stops talking to these people, because I want to be the guy who's open and tries their best. But at the same time, it's like
there's a level.
I have to give up because it's constant reassessment, and this is not what the word means. You weren't there. How do you know what I feel? Like all this other. It's like, dude, I can't.
I don't give a single fuck about how you feel.
There's all these counter nonsense things that have nothing to do with the topic, and I have to like express it in another fashion, and that's why I'm doing a book on critical analysis. But anyway, doesn't matter. Let's get back to the video.
Arc also dealt with himself having racist anti-Semitic beliefs, which get challenged, causing him to self-reflect and grow as a person. Similar beliefs were challenged in the series when tackling racism, making it explicitly clear that you don't have to be a racist to benefit from racism, that you can be the most squeaky clean, non-racist white man on the planet, but if you work at a place that discriminates against black people, then you are benefiting from the unequal treatment through no fault of your own. The problem is systemic.
Because you have a job?
Oh, fucking! This systemic thing is just such a bullshit excuse. Just to call everything white racist. And I just hate the word because
I'm just
whatever.
if I work at like a I don't know, a gay magazine or a homosexual magazine or LGBTQ magazine, am I benefiting from the LGBTQ community, or am I just working at a job where they publish stuff which happens to be a product for a certain demographic? I mean, what is he talking about? This is I don't get. What is the bad thing there? Like, I'm benefiting from people making stuff that other people want. It's like, okay,
yeah.
Are they hurting anyone?
Yeah, the problem is we don't have the context for these comic panels because we don't have the context for anything that Drake is saying because he's a liar. This is the whole issue. He has completely lost the benefit of the doubt. We know he's outright lying about stuff. So why should I believe anything he's putting up? Why should I believe that this is the point that's being made? For all we know, the guy talking in these panels could be shown as being in the wrong by the end of the story.
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know anymore because Drake is a liar who leaves out context
for everything. Yeah.
So what reason do I have to accept that anything he's telling me is true in this video? And again, okay, there were political messages in Static before. And this is my reaction to a lot of these videos every time I'm on here and these guys make these points. And because when you don't counter anyone specifically, when you don't counter someone saying something specific, you're not countering a point, you're countering this nebulous group of the usual suspects. How am I supposed to do this? Okay, there have been politics and Static before. Has anyone ever said there haven't been?
No, that's never been the argument. The argument's always has been this ham-fisted, quite clearly, you know.
Yeah, it's the problem of storytelling. It's not to do with the issue of the theme or the central conflict. It's, are they writing poorly and injecting stuff into a story where it doesn't need to belong, or doing it in a bad way?
Is it just, as it's been going for the last couple of years, just communist propaganda disguised as storytelling? Because that just seems to be the thing. It's no longer just being political. It's the fact that it's like it's quite clearly it's a single type of politics that is being shoved into everything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's the difference. I'm all right saying there's been stuff that's been political in comic books. It's more the fact that everything that's being made is a single type of politics now, and it's becoming quite noticeable.
It's not a clash of political ideologies. It's
communism
like
good,
squeaky clean, innocent victim people who inevitably spout acceptable left-wing politics versus cartoon versions of whoever the political opponent of the day du jour is.
Yeah.
Who get the worst faith interpretation of their perspective on whatever the issue du jour is. And it works out to this incredibly poorly written, ham-fisted garbage. And that's what people complain about, because it's when people say this is too political, they're not saying I don't want politics. They're saying this is too political, because there's a level of political narrative you can weave into the story and still be acceptable, because it doesn't pull you out. When you reference modern politics, when you give MODOK Donald Trump's face, when you have the Red Skull say, we're going to make America great again, when you do that, you yank people out, you remind them of whatever contemporary issue is, and you pull them out of the story, you break their suspension of disbelief. And the only people who are going to be okay with that are people who agree with the message that's being preached at you, because it's not a story being told. It's a sermon being preached. Yeah, that's what the issue is. The issue is not that it's political at all. The issue is the way it's handled. That's always been the issue. That is what people complain about. They don't expect no politics.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I have to explain. It's like everything being made now is just the Communist Manifesto, hidden in a really badly done story, and it's like we get it. You're all fucking communists. We get it. We're not interested. But that's what it is. It is just literally a bunch of socialists going Communist Manifesto in like Batman stories or Superman stories or fucking The Price is Right. It's always the same. So, yeah, I 100% agree with the rant. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's keep going. I want to get to the halfway mark. Let's keep going.
Now, there are plenty of examples from the comics that I can go on and on and on about, but I know that most y'all don't really care and haven't read them. When it comes to Static, there is no denying that the cartoon series Static Shock is the most well-known and influential depiction of the character. And guess what? It was political too. So obviously it has the same police brutality origin story, but Static Shock...
Again, this is not police brutality.
Virgil's dad is...
Right. I'm gonna
using tear gas to break up a gang fight is not police brutality. The issue being addressed in the origin story is the dangers of gang violence. It's not police brutality, because the police aren't even in the scene.
This is ridiculous. Why?
They shoot tear gas, and that's it. There's no riot cops. There's not a fleet of riot cops dressed explicitly like Nazi stormtroopers walking up to them. Like there is in the new comic.
The police trying to stop gang violence is brutality. The police standing still is police brutality. The police existing is police brutality. We get it. You don't want the police because the police stop you from living out your fucking sick fantasies that you all have, where you can literally just be cunts to everybody. Because that's why BLM is made up of pedophiles, women beaters, and fucking degenerates. You know it, and we all know the reason why you're anti-police. It's not because you think it's bad, because you know that they're the people who will stop you from being massive dickheads and being the vermin of the world.
That's also why they don't want people to own guns either, because if the police don't do it, the gun owners will.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they went after Rittenhouse, because how can you shoot randomly into a crowd of people and shoot two pedophiles and a woman beater?
Mm-hmm.
How can you have 100% hit rate on vermin in a BLM crowd? How the hell? How the hell was nobody that was killed with a clean fucking record? And not just a clean record, a record that wasn't fucking disgusting. God, these people, I really hate them. I really hate these people.
I just love the people like Rittenhouse shouldn't have had. He carried a weapon over state lines. I'm like, and one of the guys he shot shouldn't have been near a minor. Rittenhouse is a minor, so.
Two of them were pedophiles. I don't give a shit. What they deserve to die. They deserve to have been killed. They should have been killed long ago. And the guy who beat up his missus, deserves, well, maybe not die, but deserves pain and prison. Because it's fucking disgusting.
All right. Here's Fritz for the donation. I can't believe I used to like Comic Drake. 2016 changed a lot of people. Or rather, it opened my eyes to how duplicitous I loathe to call these creatures people, but it shows them for what they are. I don't see them as any less.
The mask slipped.
I don't see. Mask slipped. I don't see them as any less a person, but because of the presidential election or what have you, they are more open about their opposition because someone gets to oppose the powers that be. It's the same thing with conservatives when they're in power, when liberals are in power. The opposition party or the people they're in can then properly criticize their government or what have you because they're the ones in power. The same thing's happening with our Conservative Party in Ontario because of what's happening in the world and our handling of what's been happening locally. Finally, we can open up some restaurants next month, hopefully, to certain capacities because our COVID reporting rate is in the 3 digits. So it's like 300 a day, 200 a day, that sort of thing. It used to be 4,000 a day a month ago. So whatever we did or whatever we're not doing, like honestly, I don't think we did anything to cause those numbers to change. That's why I find this so hilarious. It doesn't matter which party was in power. No one knows what the hell they're doing. They're not experts on quarantining a province.
Even the experts.
Neither are the experts.
Yeah, they have no idea.
Yeah, that's the thing.
The flu season just got extended for the extra, I don't know, half a year. It usually goes on for
8 months.
Yeah, the extra
8 months.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, what do we do? Don't go to parties. You're like, why? We're not sick. No one at the party's sick. We're fine. If they're coughing, they stay.
I like that.
What was that?
I like the fact that while you're talking about this, the UK Health Secretary has been sacked as well.
Yeah, really?
For breaching. For breach. He's had an affair after he, because there's still a sex ban in the UK.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Right. Unless you're in an established relationship, you shouldn't be having sex.
Are you serious?
Unless you're in an established relationship or a pedophile politician, then you're fine.
That is insane.
So anyway, Matt Hancock has been caught having an affair. So he's now had to resign because he breached the social distancing rules. But you also have to remember that the guy who created lockdowns, Neil Ferguson, the whole reason we're all in lockdowns. And saying that lockdown should be a permanent thing, and people should not be allowed to visit each other. This was in an interview on, I think it was like in April last year. The very next day, he was caught breaching the social distancing things to see his married lover.
Oh wow! Well,
so always remember that the lockdowns were created by a man who broke lockdowns repeatedly and actually joked with politicians that he was laughing at people following the fucking lockdowns because he said any idiots will believe anything.
Well,
and we're still in lockdowns.
In Canada, we have a parliamentary system similar to the UK where we still have parliament, but everyone phones it in. Like everyone has their own Skype call or whatever the hell it's called. And one of the voting last week was, can we all go back to work in the parliament, the actual building? And there was this one guy, he was on a beach on his cell phone, and you see the waves in the background. He's like, no, I think we should all stay where we are. It's fine. We could all do
it's just...
It was so funny. Like, are you...
Well, we had them... Yeah, was it G7? Was it that the UK hosted?
Oh my god, the elbow bumping or whatever the frickin' hell they were doing there.
Yeah. But the fact is, like, they all had that big massive barbecue and were like drinking and laughing and joking.
Yeah.
And then the very next day, Boris extended restrictions to say that we couldn't, people couldn't do all that stuff because it was too dangerous. Literally, while he was in Cornwall with all the world leaders.
Yeah, that's great.
Not social distancing. It's fucking
amazing.
But these are the people who
we could hang outside on patios and eat and drink, but you can't do it indoors because it's.
But we can. Here's the thing: we can be out on the patio, right? But then it's cold on the patio, so we need to build a structure around the outside seating, right?
You know what's happening?
I
don't know. I don't know how big Eurocup is for you guys in Europe, but in College Street, downtown Toronto, it's a huge thing. We have a big Portuguese, Italian, basically a European quarter. It's just College Street's pretty long. Mm-hmm. All these bars. So what the bars did, they set up exactly what Bears was talking about, and they put the TVs outside. They have all these TVs because you're not allowed to go indoors. But people still want to buy beer and party and
because the Euros are on.
Well,
so that should be that big thing.
It's not that big a thing, but it's the best thing we got. So it's like we're gonna watch.
Well, I mean, obviously with the but there's like what was it? The UK's like obviously continuing restrictions, and we're not allowed to do stuff, but we're allowing like thousands of football fans into the country to watch.
I know.
The games, and we're like, why can't we go to the pub? Oh well, it's you still have to wear a mask, and yet there's cameras in all the executive boxes showing all these rich people without masks on, laughing and joking, and you're like, fuck's sake.
Yeah, you can.
It's like so clear.
You can take your mask off when you sit down and you start paying money because they're not going to stop you because you're giving them money. What are they going to say? I got to eat. I got to drink. I got to take my mask off.
It's also the fact that. But the thing is, as well, it's like travel is supposed to be really restricted, but the Euros are being played all over Europe this year. There's fans and football teams going all over the world.
I was at Costco. I got a whole pamphlet, a travel booklet that you would plan out your itinerary for wherever in the world. So they're gearing up for the next month to spend some money. Mm. So they don't care if you got your shots or not. They're going to take your money.
So just don't like if they like. Oh, you can wear a mask if you're vaccinated. Like there's no restrictions. There's no checkpoints to see if you're vaccinated. So just don't do it. Just stop.
I always say this to everyone, to the people like in my hometown who've had both vaccines. Yeah. I'm like, are you enjoying your freedoms that I don't? And they're like, no, I'm at home. I'm like, yeah, exactly. He's not done anything, has it?
I've had
neighbors still restricting stuff.
I've had neighbors who got their second shot. I don't know how because they have connections. They all got sick. There's like the entire family, like 4 people just got sick. Not from contracting the virus, but from the shot itself. They were like, one guy just passed out like hours after. I was like, what the hell is happening?
It's almost as if this shit's an experimental fucking virus.
Yeah. Well,
anyway,
because what is it? We were talking, because I think the UK's at like 80%. Vaccine intake, and we're still restricted, and it's a bit like people are even asking how much more, and people are saying you should have a vaccine every month, and I'm like,
are you joking?
Yeah,
I don't think so. That would kill you.
And I'm just like, I'm like, no, that's not what should be happening.
I could write an essay on how that would kill you within 2 years if you did that.
Go outside, get vitamin D, get zinc.
Well, just go out and get laid.
Honestly,
because all the experts seem to be shagging each other.
Honestly, just get infected. Just get the virus. Whatever's out there, just get it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about these shots. Just get sick. Stay home for another 2 weeks. Cough it up. It's another version of the flu, guys. That's all it is. Yes, you could die like anyone else could die from any infection. It doesn't matter what age you are. That's how the flu works.
But no, the symptoms, Smud, the long-lasting after effects, Smud. That's why we need to crash the economy.
My favorite COVID is that more people have died. More people I think it's under 40 have died from the vaccine than died of COVID.
Yep.
Like, more people have also killed themselves and have died of COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think we're looking at in the UK 100,000 cancer deaths in the next 2 years from not diagnosing enough people, diagnosing cancer quick enough,
right?
And that dwarfs like what COVID did and everything. So it's just a bit like Jesus.
Yep, scary stuff. These flu viruses that occur every so.
I'm not scared. I'm not scared of the virus. I'm scared of the bloody government reaction to it. That's what I'm more scared about.
All right, so, let's keep going. Here's Joe Crazy. Hey, Joe. Okay, Drake, what do you want the cops to do? The other option is for them to go in guns blazing.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like, even if the cops did nothing, this guy would still call it police brutality because cops exist.
Yeah, tear gas is non-lethal. So anyway.
Oh, it's like that cop was it in Chicago or something who got or one American cities who got like disciplined for using excessive force, as in like with that protester and like the entire riot squad. Wait, is it Portland? There's where your entire like riot squad of like
that was Portland.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm glad I'm armed. Just throwing that out there.
All right. Let's get back to the video. We're not even halfway done. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Riddle's dad is a community organizer, and how since most of the bad guys are gang members, they inherently come from backgrounds of poverty and or abuse, there are dedicated episodes, like Sons of the Father, which tackles racism.
And now I see why Richie acts like a hood, Maggie. That kid's a bad influence.
Is racism a political issue?
You got what you wanted, Dad. My best friend's gone because of you and your stupid racism.
Richie always goes on and on about Virgil and his cool dad, but he never even told me you were
African American. Would that have made a difference to you, Foley? Or should it have? No, you were talking about his kind, that's all. Well, I know your kind, Foley. I've seen your kind all my life. A fine, upstanding bigot. His nose so close to the grindstone he can't see anything else. Meanwhile, the world changes and grows, and he's blind to it. Ignorant. And proud of that, too.
There's the episode Jimmy, that's all about a school shooting, and how about the episode Flashback, which opens with explicit gang riots, and whose entire plot is about going back in time to prevent them, while also saving Virgil's mom in the process, who was killed by a stray bullet during these riots. The episode Frozen Out is all about teenage homelessness, mental illness, and how the two of them can be directly connected. Then there's the episode Static in Africa, which is about...
Wait, how is this political? What are you talking about?
I don't understand how the episode where he meets an African superhero is political. Unless, like, does Common Drake think that going to Africa is some kind of big fucking spiritual experience for everyone with a high melanin count? Because it isn't. I don't want to go to Africa. Africa sucks.
How is gang warfare political? That has nothing to do with the government. That's just two warring factions.
No, but gangs are always about black people and they're what? Huh?
Yeah, gangs are all filled with black. No. Yeah, gangs are all filled with black people, and black people are just political tools. Isn't that right, Comic Drake? Because black people aren't people; they're just tools for white champagne socialists who have mugs that are empty.
To him, political means anything to do with essentially people interacting with each other in society.
Yeah.
Can I buy some ice cream?
When these guys say
that ice cream is political, Smud.
Ben and Jerry's ice cream.
When these guys say, he would say that your ability to get ice cream is political.
What?
That in a free society,
guys like him, the people, the type of people who say that everything is political, use such a broad definition of the word political to essentially mean any relations between two people that it's a completely meaningless term. It's like, okay, yeah, everything is political if you define political as everything.
If something is so broad, there's no need for a definition. It's just called the thing. So,
exactly.
And he's still not making a point, because his whole point still here is there's always been politics, even though he still hasn't shown that the complaint was that it's political now.
Well, the problem is like he's talking about these. Let's say these things are political. That's fine. What was getting brought up is the fact that the things getting brought up in the cartoon weren't just, this is part of the Communist Manifesto. This is part of the Communist Manifesto. Because BLM is fucking Marxist and communist. They've even admitted that. This is the difference. When people used to talk about in the old days actual political stuff, it wasn't just blatant communism. And that's why people are calling it over-politicized, because it is literally just communism that is constantly being shoved down our throats. We're being told that we are terrible people because we're not all starving to death in gulags. Thanks. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Let's get to the halfway point. I want to see if this is worth it.
Not really
static in Africa and directly explains Pan-Africanism.
Pan-Africanism is the belief in the unity of all black people and their cultural connection to Africa.
What the
Virgil talks about
what
the hell does that mean?
Oh my god.
The Hutu and the Tutsi murdered each other.
Jesus fucking Christ. There's been so much. Do you know who sold slaves to the whites?
The Ashanti, the fucking Ashanti. Mind you,
oh my god!
Remember that one time where the Democrats dressed up like Ashanti slave traders in honor of black people? That was a great moment in history.
Oh my god! This is literally the fucking all Africa is fucking Wakanda. I'm honest to God. This is.
Can you imagine saying that to like any part of Europe? It's like, oh, you're not pan-Italian enough. It's like, what are you talking about?
Oh my god! Yeah, but the thing is, you're not pan-European, and you're like, what do you mean? It's like all Europeans are together in Europe. Yeah, go talk to the Serbians and the fucking Swiss. They really love each other. They can't even play a fucking game of football. Austria and North Macedonia played a game of football, and there was racial tensions between the two of them. One player got a ban for doing a signal for like Macedonian genocide, and it's like, cool, right?
Why is Pan-Africanism or whatever such an important issue?
All black people look the same, so they obviously must think.
I guess. What is the importance though? Like, what is the focus? We're talking about continents. We're talking about not just
because no condom forever or whatever Black Panther.
Yeah, said. I'm sure we're all related to some tribe thousands of years ago. But like, what do you want us to learn from that? How would that? Like,
go to the Congo and talk about how black people are all friends. They've been in like constant civil wars for like the last 50 odd years. There's been so many genocides in Africa, it's unbelievable. Go to Zimbabwe and talk about what's happening. Go to South Africa with all the violence. Go to fucking Ethiopia, Somalia. Just go to any of these places. What about Egypt? Is Egypt like with all the black people? Because they're not black. You know, what the fuck is this? This is literally Africa. I watched David Attenborough once.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So he brought up this issue as if this is a political issue. I don't even know what issue this is, but who cares? Like, dude, whatever. What's your point?
Pan-Africa, because Pan-Africa, because we're all together. Just pay no attention to the child soul just gunning people down and burning villages. I mean,
can you imagine? Like, even think about America, Pan-America, like North America, South America, Central. It's like, I can't relate to Mexico or Argentina or Peru. Like, I don't know. I just can't. I'm sorry.
It's like, what's like Pan-Asia? What the fuck is...
Oh my god, good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
Russian, Taiwanese.
What does like 103-year-old Russian grandmother have in common with a Thai ladyboy? What the fuck does, what links them together? I mean, Russia and Japan used to be the biggest of enemies. But they had numerous wars with each other, but they're both Asian. Even though part of Russia's in Europe, but hey ho.
Yeah, well.
I'm not getting into the geography argument, but anyway, literally, yeah, this is stupid.
This is really silly. Let's just.
But look at the giraffe. If it shows a zebra, it must mean it's good because zebras are good. I learnt that from Last of Us 2.
Okay.
Doesn't feel like an outsider.
I've been carrying this weight around all my life without knowing it, and now it's gone. What are you talking about, Verge? In Africa, I'm not a black kid. I'm just a kid.
No, in Africa he's an American. In Africa he's an American.
Oh my! No, in Africa you're a fucking foreigner because holy shit! Black people don't think like. I don't think in England. I'm not a white kid. I'm an English kid. No, I'm just a kid.
Well, if you're flying through the air,
who thinks like this?
If you're flying through the air on a steel disc or whatever the hell he's doing, I think they'd see you as an alien.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is that?
Probably think he's some kind of fucking demon witch doctor.
Yeah.
Oh, no, seriously. But it's like they kill people for witchcraft in certain African countries. You would be bludgeoned to death by two blokes in the grass skirts or something, man. You'd be having like poison darts shot at you from the ground. Also, you can tell this is stupid because the animals that are interacting with each other live in separate parts of Africa and don't usually but never mind.
I want to know what kind of cell phone reception he has in Africa, because that's amazing.
Yeah, and Africa in the early 2000s. I mean, there was like... Man,
yeah, you don't have too many cell towers where there are roaming elephants.
Yeah. Also, let's just put it this way: whenever you watch like documentaries from the early 2000s of like people in Africa, they're wearing football shirts from the 1970s as like smart clothing. It's like the country. There's a lot of catching up to do. Oh my god! I can't believe we just said it in Africa. I'm just a kid. No, you're an American tourist, and they know you're American.
I wonder what
it's like Liberia. Like the Liberians weren't classed as Africans by the Africans who lived there. They were classed as Americans.
Well, I'm curious what the context of this episode is that he has to go to Africa on his flying disc to.
I don't know. It
was just a vacation, I think.
Oh yeah, okay.
You know, like Tali in Mass Effect on her pilgrimage.
Yeah,
it's like Static's on his Umbabunga trip or something to Africa or whatever black people do. So he has to kill a lion.
We are going to visit our tribe
before he gets his blackness.
The old tribe from.
He's got.
You know the way.
I have to. Do you know the way? He has to stand in like a circle with a grass skirt and hoot like a monkey for 6 hours before he becomes a true black person.
Well, he also has to get a circumcision.
Yeah, or whatever. I don't know. I'm in Starbucks drinking my soy latte. Whatever black people do. I've never met one person.
See, if this was like Avatar or something,
on TV, though,
where he's flying through the air on some sort of spiritual beast, I'd be like, okay, that sounds about right. But this is like some kid with powers.
Flying over an elephant.
He's not
flying over an elephant.
Yeah, he's not on some quest.
I'm not a black kid. I'm just a kid.
Yeah, he's not on some spiritual journey to figure out the secret art of bending. He's just there to visit some elephants or some shit. Okay.
I mean, look at his paw screen. That elephant's eyes looking at him, going, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah, he's wearing he's wearing his entire outfit like he's fighting crime in the Sahara. It's just like, dude, you're sweltering. You're losing body mass. Like, what's going on here? Oh no, it is winter here. Okay,
I come from a land down under.
All right, here's Mark in 3D. Mark, how you doing, buddy? Static Shock learning about fisting in Africa. Mark, that was an unexpected joke from you, and I don't know how to take that.
Typically you take fisting in the asshole.
Oh no, I got that part. I'm just like, for Mark, I'm like, how would Mark interpret that? I don't know.
I'm just still laughing about the fact that this is literally the whitest of white people going, look at this Pan-Africa, like it was a real thing, just because he's obviously never met a white person. He's probably never met a white person. He's probably never met a black person.
He looks in the mirror. He goes, "I am my own brother." He's like, "Okay."
Hey, brother.
I wonder when the white man will accept me for who I am. It's like, okay.
Yeah. And it's just a picture. It's just me.
I just imagine Comic Drake in blackface saying all that shit. When will the white man accept me for who I am?
No. Underneath the skin, he is a black man. That's what he thinks.
When will my reflection show?
Oh man.
Oh man, I'm just imagining him like dressed up as some like Rasta man or something, going bacon man,
Bacon.
you know, man.
Man.
This is how we speak in Uganda, and like some Ugandan person's going, "What the fuck are you on about here, man? Get the hell out of my house."
Who the fuck is this white boy?
Who is this flying white boy? Did he steal the hubcap?
Oh.
Anyway, Tyler Preston.
He stole my hubcaps.
He stole my hubcap. Give it back. He's a thief. Cut his ankles off.
Fucking Static Shock goes to Africa, comes back home with no ankles.
How's he running his disc then?
Yes, my fellow African. I support gay rights. Anyway, Static Shock had his hands cut off and friends.
We do not want this sickness in Uganda.
Greetings, my fellow Ugandans. How do you do?
No, I did not. Fuck you.
Greetings, my fellow N-words. Anyway, that was the last we saw.
Okay, Tyler Preston, thank you. That Static Shock episode is a tribute to the character Anansi. Okay, in the comics, he was a fictional movie character in the same way as Zorro, who was the inspiration for Virgil of becoming a superhero. Anansi is also the name of the African trickster god. Yes, in case you guys don't know your Neil Gaiman stories. But
a spider deity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because Neil Gaiman invented Anansi. Okay, Smud.
Well, no, he just takes everything no one knows about and popularizes it and does his own twist. So that's Neil Gaiman. Nothing original, but he just turns it just slightly to the left or the right and makes you go, "Oh, I've never heard of Balder. What's that about? Oh, it's a Viking myth. I've never. Oh, yeah." Thanks, Gaiman. As good as he is nothing original. So, but that's cool. It's okay. He's a good author.
I mean, there's only 7 stories that human beings can tell. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to use
five of them are communist for some reason. So what?
All right, let's go. We're past the halfway mark. It's pretty good.
For you all. Yeah, I guess.
And he talks about the importance of black.
I love how confused Virgil or
I don't know.
Richie.
It validates me.
I love how confused Virgil's like, yeah, fine, sure.
I know. It's just that sometimes I wish there was a
who
black
wouldn't
superhero
be?
back home
Let's be
for folks
honest.
to look up to.
Oh, but there is.
But sure, go off about how the show wasn't political. Okay,
How?
You managed to put 2 fucking points out of like what? How many 40 episodes of the fucking show?
Maybe more.
Yeah.
And even so, like, he's still, who said the show wasn't political? That's the more fundamental issue here, is he's still attacking no one in particular. He's still saying, he's still making these killer points against nothing. Against some nebulous, the usual suspects.
Them people.
They do not know the way.
I don't think.
Like, I predicted this down to the number of Twitter comments he would show us.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, I know, that was actually kind of impressive.
I don't think having black superheroes is political. I really, really don't. But okay, fine. Let's.
No,
say
I don't.
Always, it has and always will be the execution of what you're trying to do. That's just fact.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
So let me get on my socks here for a second, as if I wasn't.
Oh God!
Though in this case,
okay, this is
dog,
just.
I heard you like soapboxes. I'll put a soapbox on your soapbox so you can rant while you rant. Fucking retard.
Aye. Oy vey, as the Jews, but the communist show wants to. Yeah.
This is.
You know what, Spud? Let's just
the
hear
Jews
him
only
out,
say that in New York.
Okay, question. How long have we been going, though?
Let me see. 2 hours and 23 minutes. So
I think we can think we can at least do a little bit more of it.
All right, this is anytime they
How
do
about
stupid shit.
instead we skip to the part where he advertises Raid Shadow Legends
Oh, yeah?
and be done?
Oh yeah, he does that. He does that before.
I have no idea.
You know what else is political? Raid Shadow Legends.
Fight a
All
war.
of this talk about Static Shock being political, but if you don't like your stories to be political, try Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah, he would say that.
Well,
No, he would say Raid Shadow Legends is political
Yeah, he
because probably
That's what
somebody in the game works for some government.
Yeah. All right,
Somebody somewhere,
let's
there
hear
is
this
some
soapbox
government
bullshit.
Somehow.
Here we go.
It's actually my roommate's unopened box.
Okay,
of
it wasn't
Body Wash.
funny when you made the
Is the metaphor
comment.
still
It's
trapped?
not getting any
So
funnier.
this is the part of the video where things are going to get a little controversial. See, everything I said in the video
This
earlier,
part-
outside of that brief aside, how I mentioned that I would prefer if these static reboots stuck to the original origin story, were indisputable facts. Now, what I'm about to tell you are also facts, but these are ones that tend to get people really worked up, and they refuse to understand them. If your issue with the reboot of Static is him getting involved with Black Lives Matter, then it is important to remember that BLM is not an organized group. It is a decentralized movement.
Okay.
No. So he's this. This is just.
So that's not an
lie.
indisputable fact.
That's a disputable lie.
All right. Let's hear his
Yeah.
definition of what an organized group means. That sounds asinine from the get-go, but let's hear what he has to say.
That started in the several murders of black people, especially as a result of police brutality.
Okay,
No,
okay,
it
wait a second,
started
okay.
as the result of a self-defense killing in 2012.
All right. So let's assume that this is the impetus for the group. That's fine, but that doesn't make it non-organized. That's just this is a thing.
Yeah,
it's bad.
Yeah, it's an organized group, all right. It's an organized group of people that have completely forsaken their humanity.
If you have a group of people for whatever reason, I don't care what the impetus is, and you say you want to get to a certain time and place at a location and say stuff and do stuff, yes, then you're organized. That's all organization is.
Yeah,
you're getting people to agree on a place and time, and do something there. It doesn't matter what.
And like besides, he just said it started in response to the murders of several black people. No, it didn't. BLM started in 2012 after Trayvon Martin was shot in self-defense by George Zimmerman, and Michael Brown was shot in self-defense by whatever that cop's name was. That's why it started. So this is another lie.
Yeah.
They were not murders. They were self-defense. Everyone who investigated concluded they were self-defense. The juries concluded they were self-defense. The medical examiners concluded they were self-defense. That one medical examiner who gets hired to find BLM-friendly results in his autopsies found that Mike Brown was self-defense.
Yeah.
So, no, this is not an indisputable fact. This is a lie, Drake. You're lying again. This is not contestable. It is a lie.
All right.
BLM is strictly about how black lives do in fact matter. They don't matter more than others. There is just a disproportionate amount of police brutality and murder of black people.
There's also a disproportionate amount of crime done by black people, you fucking idiot.
Also, that's a lie, because when you actually look at the statistics, it's been proven that that's false. Hence why they don't like bringing up actual statistics anymore. So, again, that's another lie. This entire Silent Soapbox is just Comic Drake being a fucking cunt and lying.
What was it?
I'm done listening to this cunt. I really am done, because he's just lying now, and this is just ridiculous. This has nothing to do with Static Shock. This is just him going, oh, fucking God's sake.
All right.
Doctor with a broken arm, the doctor doesn't tell you to get over it because all bones matter. They treat the broken arm.
What happens if you go into the doctor? What happens if you go into the doctor and rob him at gunpoint? What happens then, Drake?
Wait a second. He's giving the analogy that one bone out of your body is the black race, and you don't say all bones matter don't heal the bone. You just heal the bone. This is I can't even make sense of this dumb analogy. Like, dude.
This is a more accurate analogy would be that if you went into the doctor and your left hand was broken in a bunch of places and your right index finger was broken and your right arm was broken and you said, "Hey doc, my right finger is broken. Can you fix it?"
Yeah.
The arm bone in this case represents the vast majority of murders of black people, and the left hand in this case represents the police brutality committed against white people, which happens proportionally to the amount of police interactions more often.
Mm-hmm. This is just his really bad, disingenuous line. Try and say that Black Lives Matter is. I don't care. We all know what Black Lives Matter is, and they blatant. The worst thing about it is Black Lives Matter literally threw all these cunts under the bus, saying, "No, we are exactly what you've been accusing us of," and yet these pricks are still trying to say it's different stuff, and it's like, ugh. I'm just done listening to fucking soy boys who have no fucking clue about shit all. You can try and tell me that Black Lives Matter is like this perfectly virtuous fucking thing, which is full of fucking pedophiles and scumbags.
It sounds like they just naturally walk outside and just start congregating without any organization. They just happen to all wear black and masks and throw bricks and all this other. They just happen to have shields.
They also happen to be funded by George Soros too, but that's just a coincidence.
It's just this bizarre, how can these protesters congregate? So unnatural. It's like, dude, what are you talking about?
We have the internet. People can make invitations to go to movies together at any point. You really think they can't do that kind of shit? Use the exact same technology to organize a riot, protest?
Anyone can start their own free Facebook group and invite people to it. It's really takes 2 seconds. It's just done. Boom. You're associating. You're organized. You can make posts. You can make events. You can schedule events. It's amazing. Facebook's amazing. They're so unorganized. Go to Facebook. They're there. There's a whole bunch of them. There's friend groups of BLM per chapter.
This is just...
It's just a stupid thing to say. That's why I'm just laughing at it. But anyway.
Now, actors that use peaceful protests as an excuse to cause mayhem, yes. But if anyone is going to
does it happen every single time Black Lives Matter protests? Yes.
Why doesn't that same logic ever apply to the police? Don't try to tell me
they're the police.
But there are more bad riots and shit that happen with Black Lives Matter.
Why are you complaining about this thing that 100% of the time is always bad? Why are you complaining about this thing that 1% of the time is always bad? Why you gotta pick on the thing that's always bad? Because it's always fucking bad, man. If I punch you in the nose every day, I wouldn't want you to complain about the fact that I wore odd socks.
Don't forget there was that one study done that showed that 93% of the protests were peaceful because they used literally any instance of at least 3 people standing together as a protest event.
Yeah, exactly. And even then they had to ignore other protest stuff as well, otherwise it would knock that down.
The liberties that we give to the police are to have the authority to take another person's life in a very specific scenario or series of scenarios, which is the price we pay for our freedoms.
And what did the police have to do with anything when BLM didn't start because of a police officer?
Yeah,
it started because of some guy.
Yeah, that was the guy's name Zimmerman? Doing Neighborhood Watch or whatever. That's specific, a specific scenario of individuals, not an undercover cop or whatever the case was. So
also, why don't we apply that same standard to the police? That's not an indisputable fact. He said this was a series of indisputable facts he was going to talk about.
Yeah, anytime a police officer discharges, even unholsters their weapon, they got to write a report. They got to say, what did you do? What happened? Who did you fire? Why did you fire it? Yada, yada, yada. They can get suspended. They could be taken off the force. This is a big. I don't know if you guys remember having a policeman visit you when you were in grade school, a kid, and they just they just talked about all these things, like all the things that he has to do, and it's a lot of paperwork. It's a lot of like, oh, what did you do? What did you see? What happened? It's this constant matter of fact. I did this. I followed the book. I did that. I reported on this. I called for backup. Yada yada. All these checks and balances. Now, the examples we see of what was the guy that just got like 20 years and a half or whatever for was it? Yeah, it happened last year. He was following the book. Yeah. He was actually like they interviewed the guy who was on the force for like 50 years or whatever. I don't know if you guys watched the trial, but he was saying
no, it was a fucking kangaroo court.
It was pretty bad. But the one guy they interviewed, he was like, no, this is what we do. This is what's written in the manual. And they were going over the nuances of some of the verbiage, and I was like, yeah, this could have been written better to be more clear. But he was pretty much giving his professional opinion that, according to the video, the man was doing his job. Could he have been a lot more observant of what he was doing? Yeah, of course. You're stepping on someone's part of their neck there. But the professional opinion was... It also
would have helped if George Floyd hadn't taken a bunch of fucking fentanyl before.
Yeah, it kind of messes up your respiratory tract when you're drugged. That's true, yeah. So...
Yeah, that's...
You're not to say the cop is completely innocent, but he was following the book. That's the thing. If it's a problem with him, we can look to him and say, do you have mental problems? Were you under duress? Was there some stress happening in the scene? Were you cautious? What was going on? Like that would have been in the report, which I'm sure they probably looked at. I didn't get a chance to go over that, but according to the expert, this was by the book. So I'm like, okay.
Experts don't matter unless they fit the narrative, and we should all accept that by now.
And I was trying to think maybe he's trying to defend the police department as a whole, not the individual. Like he's trying to say, okay, I don't want this to look bad. But he was like, no. This was written this way for a reason. I've been in several scenarios, and this part, like other parts, were changed over the years. And it was like, okay, great. That's it's not a perfect manual for teaching, but the two guys who were on the job did their job. That's what I was like. Wow, really? Okay. So what was excessive force? What was the actual issue? And it just happened to be that it was a bad scenario.
The excessive force was we didn't allow a black person to just rob and steal and commit crimes. That's literally how they describe excessive force. Stopping a crime is excessive force if it involves a black person.
It was just kind of odd because I don't understand how all these trials.
But the things, I'm not trying to sugarcoat this anymore. Everything really is just you're stopping black people from committing crimes. So,
all right. Anyway, we're almost done.
Yeah.
That it's just a few apples when you don't want to compare apples to apples. Virgil getting involved with BLM does not go against the original creator's vision because remember, they are directly involved in the reboot.
No, they're not. The original
creator
is dead.
No, the original creator is dead.
Yeah, how would any of us know that when he's dead? He's been dead for a decade.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
These fucking death of the author shit.
He's again equivocating between the guy who's one of the guys who founded Milestone Comics and the guy who created the character. I looked it up.
Well, because
the guy he's talking about, what was his name? Dennis Corbin.
Dennis Corbin.
Dan Cohen or whatever it is. Cohen.
Dennis, whatever his name was. I looked him up. His only involvement with Static ever is that he was a producer on the cartoon.
Yeah, that's it.
He did not create the character. He never wrote the comic. He never even illustrated the comic. Mm-hmm. He was a producer for a while on the cartoon. That's it.
Yeah, he was just there.
He's not the creator. He was never the creator. He had nothing to do with the creation of Static.
Yeah, this is just literally saying like 3 black people who work for the same company must all think the same because they're black.
No, it's not that. He's not saying Dwayne McDuffie would have been okay with it because Dennis Corman is okay with it. He's saying the creator is okay with it because a guy who's not the creator is okay. He's lying again about who the creator of the character is.
Am I the only one that gets the vibe that Drake is talking about Static as if Dwayne never existed?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
No, but
okay, look, we got more quotes that don't prove anything.
Yeah.
Because neither of these guys are the creator of Static.
Yeah. They can say whatever they want, but they're not the creators, so...
Okay, now here's a comment that just caught my eye that's relevant to this. It's not a super chat, but I just want to bring it up. From Neil in the chat. Dwayne McDuffie was a humanist. He could talk about race, but also not demonize white people. Heck, Dwayne McDuffie would have been against that. And he most certainly would have. Despite, like, some of the stuff he, like, did with some of the characters from Milestone.
How long ago did he die?
2011.
Just after the release of, I think just before the release of All-Star Superman animated movie.
I'm really glad that Dwayne McDuffie died and didn't have to see the new 52.
Yeah, my thing is, so he died before all this woke bullshit. So he wouldn't have had the woke bullshit ideology in his head because the woke bullshit ideology comes from 2012 onwards after Occupy Wall Street. So... yeah, he would have been against it because the ideology that's at the forefront now that everyone thinks is so great was literally incredibly fringe before 2012 because, as everyone rightly put it, it was fucking insane and should never be like this thing.
Yes.
So yeah, so you could put money on the fact he'd say no, I'm against it. So I hope.
Yeah, these. Anyway. PC nut jobs would definitely have called Dwayne like a traitor to his people or something. I don't know.
Yep.
Because they're just nuts.
All right, let's keep going.
Dennis Cohen posted support of the movement, and if they didn't want Static involved with Black Lives Matter, then they wouldn't have let him
they didn't create it.
But let me address the elephant
with the misinformation.
Dwayne McDuffie can't comment
the actual
on this
creator
his passing in 2011. However, here's a few things that you should know about McDuffie.
Yeah, there you go, 2011.
The dude had frequent run-ins with the police and was the victim of racial profiling time and time again. After having open heart surgery, he was legitimately afraid of his searchers being pulled if he was...
You're showing a letter written by somebody else.
How does
Not just somebody else, just a letter.
How does he relate?
How do we know this is real?
How does he relate his lifestyle and open heart surgery together? What are you talking about?
He's saying he was afraid his sutures would be torn if he was handcuffed, but you haven't proven anything. This is a letter. We have no reason to believe it's real.
Mm-hmm.
Pulled if he was handcuffed behind his back. As a 6'6" black man, McDuffie was constantly seen as suspicious by law enforcement. Like how he was pulled over for driving his own car and then was asked who actually owned the vehicle.
Okay,
McDuffie
how do we
made
know
the conscious
that?
effort to
According
try and
to
make himself
who?
seem smaller because his stature was seen as legitimately intimidating by some people.
This is an unsourced,
if you think
handwritten
McDuffie
letter.
wouldn't
This is so funny. Some guy printed a letter on looks like a piece of what is the paper? Is that I don't know.
It's just paper.
There's no lines. It's not actual like 8x11. It's just a piece of
the closest thing.
Whatever.
The closest thing to any kind of confirmation we could get is from if I remember correctly, Charlotte Fullerton, who was his wife. But even then, I don't think she would bother with anything like this.
Yeah, this looks like someone's just quickly scribbled on the back of like a receipt you get at the supermarket.
I'm thinking of that paper you wrap meat in, that really light brown paper.
Yeah, but like I was saying, it's like, did he get stopped? Where's your evidence?
Yeah,
what happened?
I'm assuming the champagne SUV is like the color, not. There's no car called Champagne or SUV called Champagne.
Yeah.
So
He told me he would sometimes try to make himself smaller so to not intimidate or scare people. Okay, so
that's what happens whenever you're 6'6".
Yeah, first of all, that's something that happens to most people who are a certain height.
I'm only 6'2", and I'm only 6'2" when I do that shit sometimes.
Yeah, my father would do that, and he was. My father was 6'5", and he weighed 280 pounds.
Yeah, something
my
like
father
that
was
is
very
not
big.
even close to exclusive.
Yeah, but like I said, this
even
is
if
someone else
it
saying
is,
stuff.
Even if we accept that this is true, that doesn't mean people were actually afraid of Dwayne McDuffie. It means he thought they were.
Also, when you have like open heart surgery, and your sutures are supposedly that delicate, why are you driving a fucking car? I don't know if anyone's seen someone with open heart surgery, but
no, I'm honestly okay with. I'm honestly okay with that.
No, Bears. Trust me, like there's a lot of fucking stuff in regards to with sutures, with like tearing. Well, you're looking at like.
We're talking about
that's why I'm already
post-surgery therapy, which is a very long process, and there's lots of things you don't do. You can't eat. You can't do certain activities, and you're talking about open heart surgery. That is serious stuff.
Yeah, my stepdad's had open heart. My stepdad's had open heart surgery, and it's taken him ages just to be able to get back to driving, in his car with everything, because it's. So why is this guy who's supposedly, still has sutures on, driving a car?
Well,
because. Yeah,
it does take weird. Around 8 to 12 months for healing. You talk about stories like with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He had heart surgery of some kind, and he's still back to exercising, but he can't do anything heavy. He can exercise. He can do light weights, but he can't do anything close to like what he was doing 20 years ago. So,
well, my stepdad can't wear a seatbelt.
Really?
Because if he's in a car crash, the seatbelt will cause the damage to his chest.
It'll push right into him, right?
Yeah. So you've got to be very careful with stuff. So the fact that he's driving somewhere after all this, it's a bit like you've got other things to be worried about, being handcuffed. Why are you?
And even then, this is just his fear. This is not a reality. If this is true. He's like, I'm scared of this happening to him. He's like, okay.
Yes, fear does not equal risk
or reality.
It never has. No matter how many sob stories you want to pull out about people being scared to do things, fear does not equal risk.
Mm-hmm. I'm terrified of velociraptors. Doesn't mean I'll get killed by one. So hey ho, we all.
Okay. All right.
Just gonna say.
And that is a constant in the discussions with people like him, is they conflate fear with risk. You see it all the time where like feminist women will say, oh, women can't walk alone at night without being afraid they're going to get attacked. That doesn't mean you're at risk of getting attacked.
Don't, because there was that woman that Zach had to talk with in regards to. I fear being raped because I've been raped by 4 of my male friends, and it was like, we'll get different friends because quite clearly you're surrounded by rapists, and they were all rapists. But yeah, the fear of stuff is like fear clouds your judgment of things.
Okay. We're almost done. Let's get going. John Doe, the average Joe, think that Drake wrote this lousy proof himself? Let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say someone who knew this guy wrote it.
I don't know. I don't think I can give him the benefit of the doubt anymore.
No, I don't believe this letter. I really don't believe this letter.
It is strange. It is very strange to see printing in all caps and no proper pieces of paper and all this other weird shit. It's like, okay. Anyway, did they
also,
6'6" seems to be like whiteout out or something? I don't know. Like maybe they changed the number. And it doesn't matter.
He drove something SUV. I'm sure it's like the name of the actual SUV.
Yeah, like a Ford or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Champagne.
Let's just go.
definitive support of Black Matter, then you either have a fundamental misunderstanding of what the movement is.
Yes, I think the
actual... No, I understand it. That's why I don't suck. You fucking retard.
Yeah.
I think the marketing could be a bit better for Black Lives Matter guy. just a little bit better.
You know something? I think my Discord icon is literally all I have to say to this guy now.
Anyway.
Or you don't know anything about him. It is completely transparent that people up in arms about Static being political know nothing about Static or Milestone Comics.
Yeah, like
capitalizing on hate clicks from other people that similarly know nothing. Or you can just admit that you watched the show as a kid and were too young to understand the political aspect of it.
You are such an arrogant cunt. You're an arrogant cunt who knows fuck all. You are literally fucking pond scum. You are thicker than a plank of wood in a fucking thick plank of wood making factory. You thick fuck. Honestly. This is such an arrogant thing. You're too young to be. You don't know anything about it. Like what I was saying, who knows what? Who are you on about? Because look at your doughy, pudgy fucking stupid fucking retarded face, you cunt. Look at you. You don't know fuck all about anything, you pillock. Get fucked. Take your fucking mug, shove it your ass and fuck off.
And take the comics off of your name.
Yeah, just sorry. You go on.
Don't apologize. It's funny. That was good.
No, it's alright.
You saved me from having to do it.
He labeled us ignoramuses or children, which is like, okay, sure.
Man, you know something? You know when I'm balls
like
deep in that woman you call your wife? Fuck off. Crying your Nintendo Switch that I'll buy you.
All right, here is Fritz.
God, I hate this guy's a fucking annoyance.
To quote Batman from Batman v Superman, I understand.
Thanks.
I gotta Google that.
Well, I think it's safe to say that somebody in Batman vs Superman said "I understand" at some point.
Yeah.
I don't think they did, because I don't think anyone understood what was going on in that movie, to be honest.
What do you mean? Someone saying it in the actual movie?
There's no time.
No, Batman. That's right. Batman said it after Superman said, "You don't understand."
Yeah. And
no, Batman,
they're coming at each other about to fight.
We covered that whole fight in another video.
Yeah, they're about to fight, and Superman can't have a conversation with Batman, explain his mom is being held hostage, and Batman's like, "I understand." Okay.
Batman doesn't care that he has parents.
Apparently he does.
Until he does, like 30 seconds later.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't he say you're letting him kill Martha?
He just
one of the best movies made by Zach Cameron, isn't it?
Yeah. I love the scene where Batman beats Superman over the head with a sink, because that clearly doesn't.
That's a metaphor for the sinking quality of the DCEU.
Get it? Because everything in the kitchen sink.
Like he knows it doesn't work, but he's going to do it anyway. Like, okay.
It works at that moment because it's kryptonite, but whatever.
Yeah, but guys, you're forgetting. Zach likes his like Jesus metaphors. In Mark 5, chapter 7, Jesus gets hit over the head with a kitchen sink by Roman soldiers. So
they didn't crucify him; they just beat him with kitchen equipment.
Let's move on, because we already talked about Batman v Superman and other Smudcast to death.
Jesus was beaten to death with kitchen utensils.
I can count up like at least 3 Smudcasts where we've talked about that movie to death. So let's just move on.
Yeah, but we've also talked about The Last of Us Part 2 in like 138 Smudcasts. But we're still going.
I haven't been in any of those, so I can't say jack shit about those.
Anyway, well done.
I don't want to suffer through that bullshit.
It's okay. We were all ignorant children at one point.
Oh my god!
No shit.
Oh my god!
No shit.
It's okay. You're a moron. We were all morons once, guys. It's okay.
Yeah, some of us currently are, Drake. Some of us currently still
No,
are.
no. The best thing about this, we're all morons at once. Yes, and some of us grew out of it, and some of us are still there.
What an amazing defense! It's okay. It's all right to be stupid. We were all once like that.
We were all 2 years old at one point. We were all like impressed with our dad's fucking car keys when they jangled.
But just think about the subject matter. It's just like you're not thinking like I am, but it's okay. You're stupid. Everyone's stupid once. It's like, dude.
I'm very, very, very smart. My mummy said so, and like I understand that Static Stock is like Thingy's like bestest ever because he's Pan-African with like the black people and the Wakanda condom Thanos shit. I don't know. There's black people.
It's just
I'm like,
this is what
I'm
you
glad I don't think like
when
it.
you want someone to like agree with what you're saying, you don't go, it's okay. We're all human beings. We all are born ignorant. And then we grow up and
we're all stupid.
And we listen to me, and then once you listen to me, you're no longer ignorant.
And maybe
it's like what?
and maybe one day you can be like half as smart as me, and like you'll probably have like a mug like me, and like be so cool. And just maybe, but it's a lot of hard work. You sat there going, oh, God, I really want to just punch you.
If this was a comedy routine, I'd be like, okay, you're being a joker. It's fine, but he's being serious.
And don't forget that this section was indisputable facts,
or something. I don't know.
He's literally indisputable facts of just. Oh my fucking God! This man is just the worst thing that's ever existed in the history of the world.
And this is one of our better YouTubers, guys. This is weak compared to our crazy.
No. You said that. I agree that this motherfucker was a piece of shit.
Oh no, I don't care.
You're the one giving him the benefit of the doubt.
I don't care if he's.
Yeah, I was in Bear's camp here. Don't you start fucking putting all this in the same. He's a good YouTuber.
I'm the one who called him a liar in the first place.
Listen, Smud, not all of us are Canadian and have to be overly polite just because it's in our fucking genes.
It's like the shards of glass aren't as sharp with this guy. It's still pretty bad, but you're still cutting yourself. But it's just not.
Listen, just because it's auto glass and not window pane doesn't mean it doesn't cut you just as much.
I still love the glass ceiling bit.
He's literally called us fucking ignorant children because we might disagree with him, and you're going, it's not that bad.
That's an insult. I can take that. That's fine. It's like Maggie Mae Fish, who's out of her freaking mind, saying crazy shit and then bringing it back to like racism or fascism.
At least Maggie Mae Fish is crazy.
Okay.
Better.
That's a consolation.
Yeah.
Listen, if you're crazy because you got hit in the head and then you're beating somebody up, and if you're as opposed to just beating somebody up for the fuck of it, those are two very different things.
Yeah, this is just you being really nice, Smart. This is your Canadianism coming through. Listen, you're not part of you're not my empire anymore, so you're on your own.
I can tolerate this guy a lot better than I could tolerate that guy 2 days ago, yesterday. Was that the gay Jewish man that we just gave up?
No, we're still watching Comic Drake.
No. I meant. Are they gay? Is that the whole channel? Is just. Yeah, that was absolutely garbage. I could not take that. That was a waste of time. This fellow is obviously he's right, and he can't think of any other possibility. It's just one of those things.
Yeah, he's so up his own arse. This is just such a pretentious prick that it's kind of not impressive because like he's not impressive at all. It's kind of just like mind blowing how pretentious this guy is, while being so wrong and providing no evidence of anything.
All right.
This is like a 4-year-old being impressed by the fucking massive shit he's done in like the living room. So,
all right, let's finish this off.
Is to just not try to grow up to be an ignorant adult. People claim that media these days is too political because it's shoved down your throat. Again, just because you were too young to remember it or understand the politics in older media, that doesn't mean that it wasn't there. But also, it's not inherently bad writing if the political...
Wow, dude. You completely missed the argument. It's not... just because it's shoved down your throat doesn't mean you don't understand the history of it. It's like, what? No, those are two different things.
It was bad. It can have been bad before and still be bad now.
Jeez, I don't know.
It's like we said when we covered the Neuralities video. Most things suck.
Yeah.
90% of everything is crap.
This is just fucking...
Don't be an ignorant adult, folks. It's like, thanks. Thank you, virtue man of all things that is good and true in the world.
Don't be an ignorant adult. Just follow communism. That's literally the argument.
Don't be ignorant, be a liar like me.
I don't know. Okay.
Subtle. For a lot of people, the injustice they deal with is a huge part of their lives. They would fucking love it if the shit they lived through wasn't just subtle. If you say that Static being political...
What the hell does that mean?
The
shit they lived through wasn't just subtle. What you want it to be literal? Like in your face? Like actual guys with guns in your face? Threatening you with violence?
Yeah, but
they want it to be more overt, I guess, which explains why a lot of them are extremely overtly racist.
This is an odd thing to say. All the pain and suffering you go through, wouldn't you want to amp it up? Like, no. No, I don't want that. I really don't. No one does.
Hellfire.
Can you imagine that the guy threatening you at the bar pulls out an Uzi? Like, no, I would not want that.
No, I like the guy threatening me in the bar to go, oh, sorry, I mistook for someone else. And then walk off. It's like, oh, thank God for that. We all make mistakes, mate. Have a nice day. Yeah, understandable.
I can't wait to get in the fight with these people who are calling me names, like so they could pull out knives and guns. Like, what? No.
Gentlemen, I can't wait to have a fight with these black supremacists who are 6'6" and built like brick shit houses.
These American hits.
I'm really glad. Yeah.
With gun racks. Like, no.
And I'm there with a fucking like cork gun. Yeah, great. Rule Britannia and shit like that.
You don't get your ass kicked by the black supremacists. You get arrested by the British police for having a cork gun.
Yeah, most likely, yes.
we don't have that around here. We don't have guns.
I mean, if you can get arrested for a potato peeler.
I can just be arrested for being white at this point in time in the UK. So hey-o.
Here's the mechanist. I was slacking off on working on my own story. Oh yeah, that crazy story you're going to write. Now I want to work on it just because I know the end product will piss this little leech off. I don't know what this man is anymore. He's just berating people for not thinking the same way as his and not being mature adults.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's like going, you don't think the same way as I do. And he's like trying to use that as an insult. And I'm like, no, I'm glad. This is like praise that I don't think like you. At least it shows I've got a brain.
Yeah, I'm glad my brain hasn't rotted out of my head.
Yeah. I'm glad my brain's not like dribbling out my asshole.
It's like I said earlier, it's completely beyond him that we could have access to the same information and disagree. We're either ignorant or...
children.
We have to be ignorant children, or it's not just disagree and be moral people. So we're either ignorant or evil.
Yeah, here's the thing: people always throw morals at me, and I'm like, why are we going to morals? Why do you think being more moral than me makes you better than me? because I'm pretty sure I can find skeletons in your closet that will make
Also, you're a fan of communism. You are by default not more moral than me, you piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly. You literally support a thing that's killed more humans than anything else combined.
No, but capitalism has killed more than communism because people die in car accidents or some shit.
Yeah, people die of old age in capitalist countries. I'm like, yeah, thank fucking God for that.
As opposed to dying young because of a firing squad, okay.
Or starvation in a gulag. But gulags were actually work camps and they got paid a minimum wage. And did they? They couldn't leave them, could they?
I don't think food counts as a minimum wage.
No.
Okay.
Fucking goddamn. Like, the bare minimum to not starve to death so they can work you to death is not a wage, you retards.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm 27, and I'm pretty sure doing Smudcast means I've now heard all the shit I should ever have listened to in my life from these fucking retards.
I'm sure there are, according to Wisp, there are crazier people we haven't covered. So.
Yeah, but no.
We will someday.
No.
Seriously, it's one of those things where it's like I'm gonna get to an age where like nothing surprises me anymore. Like my child will come up to me with an amazing story, and I'll think I've heard weirder. Come back when you're better at storytelling. I listened to communists when I was in my 20s. This stuff doesn't impress me anymore.
All right.
Like Jesus could come back from the dead, and I'd be like, I've seen crazier.
Okay, let's keep going.
Ruins the character. Then I'm sorry, you're not a fan of static. You're a fan of an idea of static that never existed. It's not gatekeeping, it's just a fact. It's ridiculous to get upset that the media you loved as a kid doesn't live up to the version
Isn't
you incorrectly remember.
Isn't gatekeeping protecting facts?
Yes.
Yeah. But also he used the word ridiculous, so you can cross that off a bingo list or whatever.
So he's American Tabernacle, is what you're saying.
No, I don't think he's that specific. I think he's just he's on his own little rant.
I don't think he's not that spineless and dickish yet.
This is Comic Drake we're talking about. Of course he's that spineless.
No, he's not Kavanaugh spineless. And he hasn't got any chocolate oranges like a fucking weirdo.
No, we
don't know. They could be behind that green screen.
Yeah, this amalgamation of icons from media, from entertainment media.
That's how you know he's a nerd.
Oh, yeah.
Because he has all
remember that other background? He had specifically the Infinity Gauntlet and Thor's hammer and Wonder Woman, whatever. I'm like, what? Oh, yeah, all the major names in the movies. Like, that's great. Did you watch the movies? Maybe. Yeah.
I still love his serious video about Luke Cage where he had a foam Aquaman trident in the background.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's go.
And what? It's perfectly fine if you grow out of something, and if it doesn't hold up to those memories. It's a problem when the thing that you're suddenly upset about is well-meaning inclusivity.
Wait. Okay, so first off, if it's not your cup of tea anymore, that's fine. But if you want to bash it for being bad, you're wrong. It's still good because it has inclusivity? Wait, what? Why is that?
No, well-meaning inclusivity.
Yeah, Black Lives Matter is really well-meaning and inclusive when they burn my building down.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Well-meaning inclusivity, like, is there bad inclusivity? Are you now admitting there's a thing called bad inclusivity?
Yeah, it's when anyone invites Comet Drake to a party.
I want to know what his definition
he's not getting invited.
in the Static Shock comic or show where there's an example of inclusivity, whatever that is, and that's a supposedly good thing. Like, I want to know what he's talking about. Because he's saying, if you grow out of something, that's fine, but if you want to attack something for being inclusive, that's bad. And you're like, why? It could be a bad depiction. Like, what's wrong with that? It's a strange take, but, every example of inclusivity must be good to Mr. Drake here. So, weird.
You grew up to be that kind of person that your childhood hero would be extremely disappointed in. There's a quote from the end of the Static Shock PSA on gun violence that really stood out to me. Do your part to increase the peace out there. It's not.
I do. That's why I stay strapped.
Hold on. Do your part to increase the peace. So I'm going to join the BLM fucking riot and burn fucking buildings down. Wow! Wow! You are. I'm agreeing. This is malicious. This isn't stupidity. This is just malicious lying.
This is just evil.
Wow! Do your part to increase the peace. Join the fucking BLM march. Wow! Fiery but peaceful protest. It's like you can just stick any word in front of a thing, and like the left will say that's what it actually means. A peaceful genocide. It's like I'm pretty sure the left will come up with like a virgin prostitute or something, and like they'll say it's possible.
Well, I mean, the Bible already did that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I was about to say Mary Magdalene, the virgin
Sure. Anyway, and we got less than 40 seconds. Let's go.
Each other. It's about increasing the peace. So yeah, this video is going to get hate bombed to death, and there's going to be a lot of people making hour-long plus responses to this relatively short video, but whatever. Hopefully you took at least something away from this. And if you like this content, then hey, subscribe to my channel. I got plenty more of it. If you want to know more about Static Shock, then check out the video that I did detailing the series history and about why it took so long for there to even...
All right, we're good.
Yeah, we're good. There's no... There's nothing.
There's no stream memes. We're done. Yay!
Has there been no stream memes?
There's some.
Is there no stream memes? Is there some?
Yeah, there are.
Oh, there are?
There are stream memes.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
there are stream memes.
Let me check them out. I wasn't aware.
Did you have fun today?
I mean, I was playing Tekken the entire time, so yeah.
I was still playing Assassin's Creed 1.
Yeah, boy.
All right, here we go. I miss old Static. Oh, that's cool. Animation.
Yeah.
Nice animation. That's a pretty good GIF. Holy crap.
Indeed.
I like it. And that is from the Lone Wanderer. Here's Alexis. Uh-oh, Alexis on board. Here we go.
No one complained for seizure warnings before.
Oh, Whisk, just close your eyes, for God's sakes.
No, it's just funny that they keep complaining.
All right, listen up. One of you will be my new sidekick. What happened to Robin? He changed, and he's it's the.
It's Teen Titans. Robin from Teen Titans Go chugging down some ice cream.
Oh, poor Teen Titan Robin. Oh.
Yeah.
I like
Please
that.
let season 6 be real of the original cartoon.
Here's Gorgeous
That's been
Rex.
rumored for years.
Gorgeous Rex, thank you. Undocumented immigrant stage, mostly peaceful That's great.
Jesus.
If you guys don't know, remember the CNN broadcaster? He was like, "Oh, it's mostly peaceful protest." In the background, it's all on fire. Everything's burning.
Yeah, it's
like the Leslie Nielsen movie.
Yeah, it's like Naked Gun. Disperse. There is nothing to see here.
The next one's good too.
Lone Wanderer, riot season, COVID season, riot season, COVID season. Mateus, hey Mateus. UK man arrested for stabbing American tourists in anger after they call football soccer.
I would.
Well,
that's the problem.
Sadly, in America, we call it soccer.
Yeah, and in North America and Australia as well.
Yeah, even in South America, they call it soccer.
Yeah.
That's the mecca of soccer.
They're all wrong. And they're all wrong.
Brazil is the mecca of soccer, man. You can't tell those guys what to do with soccer.
Brazil doesn't exist.
They will do something with a soccer ball that will amaze you, and it might even hurt you. But
yeah, they'll concede 7 goals against Germany and get knocked out. But I'm not going to keep grudges.
I love that they improved this German invention.
the sphere, yeah. Or a Master D3X, thank you. They even gave my dude a lightning bolt fade.
I like how they turned Static Shock into a black dyke.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Also, the lightning bolt fade, because that doesn't draw any attention to your superpowers at all.
The Virgin static cap. Yeah, that's kind of funny to have this weird pocket hood thing.
It's fucking sewed. The fucking baseball cap is sewed onto his hoodie trench coat.
Yeah, that's a bit weird. The Chad Taro hat hair. You see, in the world of JoJo, I can go, yeah, that's fine. That makes perfect sense. Market 3D. I'm retarded.
You have to think about it.
The Lone Wanderer. Wanderer. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded. Oh, jeez.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
You just have Joe Rogan in the background laughing. Oh. Fantastic. That is so well done.
What is that?
Where'd you get that? Did you make that? That's great.
No, that's been shared around for a while.
That's really good.
Fucking
fantastic. Not as good as the one I saw Maggie May Fish the other day, but still amazing. That was the best. I've never seen anything better than that. Here's Mateus. Oh, right. I finished Helltaker. It's time to watch the Smudcast. Oh, no, it's Comic Faggot. Oh, Gorgeous Rex. What do you got here? Static Shock. Wait, this comic is political. Always has been. No, it hasn't, P-Brain.
Oh, dear.
Oh, yeah, the most oppressed minority of all gamers. And then he flew through a glass ceiling, which means it's valid.
So
yes.
With the glass ceiling broken, all the oppressed groups shall prosper, especially the most oppressed group of all, gamers.
Gamers.
Don't use that brain of yours.
Where the hell is that from?
This picture's a political statement.
Isn't that just Phantasma or whatever that robot's name is? Saying shit? What the hell was that? Did someone make that up? I'm like, what? I want to know. I gotta watch that later.
I want to know.
Lone Wanderer. I know. I tried this meme too. This is the one and only time I will make a Think Mark meme. Think Drake, use that brain of yours. Yeah, no. I think he did use that brain of his. Mateus again. This picture is a political statement. A hammer smashing a glass bottle of Coke or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the hammer that's a communist hammer smashing a symbol of capitalism like Coca-Cola.
Really?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Thanks for the
Also,
interpretation.
can I say to George's Rex, you literally picked the scene that I was thinking of when I mentioned Batman smashing through a window.
Advancing the cause of Chiropteran. What the hell is
America?
Chiropteran Americans? I can't pronounce that. Chiropteran? Chiropterans? Americans.
No.
All right. Here's Gorgeous Rex again for Drake. And we got Comic Drake. And we got a loon.
An actual Drake.
A loony. Or a loon, rather.
That's a Drake.
Sure?
It's a duck.
A Drake.
It's a loon.
But no, it's a Drake.
No.
What are you on about here? What are you on about with a loon?
Smud, stop.
Do you not know you're duck?
Stop speaking French, and
Could have sworn that. All right, fine. I don't know what it's called. I'm just Canadian.
Just
fucking bag milk drinking motherfucker.
Burp, burp, burp,
Fucking
burp.
French Canadian bullshit.
We just have it on our money. I don't know. What do I know? EC Cons. Drake, and then we have which version of Robin is that?
That's Tim Drake.
Oh, Tim Drake. Okay.
Tim Drake. Yes.
That makes more sense.
Tim Drake.
Well, that's why he's been picked, Smud, because his surname's Drake. Like Comic Drake, we wouldn't pick Jason Todd.
Well, it could.
Hermeso is beautiful.
On these memes, anything is possible. My brain went to that, but I was like, okay, what Robin is that? Because I don't know. There's so many. The Robins look very similar, so I could be wrong.
Yes.
Anyway. Aura Master, D3X, they must have meant this kind of ambush. Wild Crowder appeared.
Changed my mind.
Yeah, the reason why Crowder's outside is he's not allowed inside the universities. They don't allow him to, even though they allow it to other people for whatever reason. So he has to do it outside the universities in public. He can't do it on private property. So it's not some weird ambush. It's not some weird, taking apart dumb university students that don't know any better. No, he's just out in public. Or Master D3X, Pan Italiano. Oh my goodness. Yeah, generally we don't want to be associated with that part of Italian history very well.
Mussolini.
Or at all.
What? No. Everybody associates us Germans with a certain part of our history.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
why do you get a better treatment?
We got.
Well, because they made pizza.
I was gonna say pasta.
Listen, Wisp, I don't know why you're complaining. I don't know why you're complaining about Otto von Bismarck. Okay, guy was pretty good.
Yeah.
Bismarck was awesome. Yeah, it's true.
Bismarck was awesome.
Yeah.
Bismarck was funny.
Yeah, I just.
Fisting. Here we go. I don't know. The fisting meme. Here we go.
This is the fist. We do not want this sickness in Uganda.
They have a sex practice called fisting, where they insert their hand into the other man's.
And then they eat the poo-poo. They lick the anus like ice cream.
Oh my god. All right. Wow. Hindenburg, fiery but mostly successful flight.
Sure, successful. Sure. Let's go with that.
Yeah, some landing issues.
Hydrogen gas, very, very useful. Yes.
Was cheaper.
Very inexpensive. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Source, trust me, bro.
They save tons of money on they save tons of money on cremations.
I love that note. It's just like, dude, come on. It's just
what was that?
Who knows? Some letter some guy wrote.
This is the handwritten note that Drake wrote to put in his video that totally didn't come from him, by the way.
Yeah,
this is the handwriting of an elementary school.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, this is the handwriting of someone who had 5 minutes before he had to make a video.
No, this is too clean. This is like,
look at the paper though. Like what paper is that? It's like where do you get that paper?
It's a napkin.
It feels like, yeah, I said it was like that roll of paper you get at the butcher that they wrap meat in, and it's just this long.
Yeah. I even made mistakes. There's this one with he fixed with Tipex. The other one he just blackened out.
Yeah.
But just the script is too clean. Like, this is no personalized handwriting. This is I don't know what you call this in English.
Why would you take the effort to write this in this fashion on this piece of paper? Were you dictating something and you had to commit it to memory, and you're like, oh, I need a pen, and it's going to take you like an hour to write perfectly, you know?
Comrade Take is definitely dictating, yes.
Gorgeous Rex. My only problem with Static Shock is that he doesn't have enough black friends, and he doesn't eat any Caribbean food.
Oh, no. That is man. That is deep lore. No, that's what they said about Idris Elba when he played Luther. That he wasn't black enough because he didn't have black friends and eat Caribbean food.
Like maybe Luther.
You mean fried chicken?
No Caribbean food because they only eat Caribbean food. Black people.
There was some black guy that complained that he wasn't eating fried chicken.
Black people only come from the Caribbean, don't you know?
Oh yeah.
You mean Africa?
Yeah.
Yeah. Carib Africa, yeah.
Unga Bunga land.
Yeah, not like.
This is the guy who's hiding behind his mug all the time. Okay.
The Unga Bungas are ready to do the Unga Bunga trip.
I'm glad I missed this.
You guys remember that David Hume liked roast chicken a lot too, so he's the whitest guy I know. Well, they're all most of the philosophers are white dead guys. So anyway.
Yeah.
Inquisitor Mateus, the Unga Bungas are ready to do the Unga Bunga trip. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Those are cute, actually. I
They're
like
traveling to Africa to do the Unga Bungas.
Yeah.
That's what black people do. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Peak Canadianism? That's a nice striped suit. I like that suit.
No, I'm pretty sure they're smut as peak Canadianism.
Well,
yeah.
I like the suit.
Smudge, you are peak Canadianism. You literally went Comic Drake is perfectly fine.
Yeah,
after he said he literally called us an ignorant children.
I'm pan guys. I'm pan Canadian. I represent all of Canada's culture, including black men with fedoras.
I represent all of Canadian culture. Sorry about that.
All right, who is this? This is Gorgeous Rex again. DC Black History Month Static in Africa. To kick off DC's celebration of Black History Month, we're exploring Static Shock's Static in Africa, where Static and his family have traveled to Africa, and Virgil grappled with the idea of Pan-Africanism. As described by Virgil's sister Sharon, Pan-Africanism is the belief in the unity of all black people and their cultural connection to Africa. It's a feeling that Virgil doesn't share.
Didn't we go through this already when it came up in the video?
Yeah. But then there's AKA Blood and Soil. Does that mean
that is essentially black Nazis?
Oh,
yeah,
God.
Blood and Soil.
All people of this
Nazi.
race have to share this one connection, and this one have to be one thing.
But isn't Africa a continent? Isn't it gigantic? Isn't there hundreds of cultures?
Africa is huge. Africa is huge, and it's ridiculously large. To the point you can fit the entire United States into.
Like, think of
tons of space.
Like
there's tons of different ethnicities and tribes there that they all have black skin color. But they all have slightly different cultures, and they all hate each other's guts.
Well, with
like I said during the mainstream, the Hutu and the Tutsis murdered each other.
Even
Rwanda's
and
not
they're
even
about
big.
as dark. They're about as dark as each other.
But think of
and Rwanda is a small area.
One small country in the entire continent of Africa, and you got two slightly different tribes of black people murdering each other.
Look at said before,
Pan-Africanism or whatever.
Pan-Americanism, or it's just like there's three major, like South and North and Central, but Southern America is just crazy diverse. Like there's so many countries and cultures and foods and practices. Like I wouldn't even know where to begin, let alone Canadian culture. I don't even know all Canadian. I don't know what's in Newfoundland. I don't know what's in BC.
I mean,
most people live in Newfoundland don't know what's in Newfoundland.
Pan-Africanism is literally like the equivalent of European white nationalism. It's like it's the same thing. You're saying black people have a spiritual connection because they're all from Africa. It's the same as saying white people all have a spiritual connection to each other because they're all from Europe.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Bizarre.
And like I said, tell that to the people in the Baltics that they're all the same.
You don't even have to go that far. Tell that to the French.
Are you trying to say me and Lisp are similar because we're both European? I'm not taking that.
No, we're both the same because we both hate the French.
We're united.
Yeah,
in
what we do.
hatred of the
What
French.
unites Europeans is their hatred for the French.
Oh God.
Yeah, this is true.
So
to be fair, the French are cringe and blue-pilled.
So here's our next
French
meme.
are terrible people.
Over 10,000 angry rioters or some Korean boys on a roof.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy.
Is that a shotgun?
Koreans.
The other one's a rifle? What the hell's happening? What the hell are they doing?
I have more in common with roof Koreans than the fucking rioters.
I have more in common with the roof than the rioters.
Here's well-meaning inclusivity. Oh.
Just give me my GM6 Lynx and I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
Comics have always been political. It sounds like someone's posting cringe. Oh my God.
Cringe?
What is
Richard Nixon as well?
Yeah,
what the
Yes.
fuck?
What is going on?
Yes. It's a fucking meme video.
Okay.
Richard Nixon goes all crazy and it sounds like someone's posting cringe. And then JFK is like, it's just a meme, dick, sit down.
Here's Bearserker, final one. Captain America here. Comic Drake has never seen a black person in real life, so you don't have to listen to his opinions about black people. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Everything makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that one.
Alrighty. Well, thanks, guys.
Captain Bearserker has got to become our like little.
Barracuda. It's right there, Hawk. Learn how to pronounce it.
All right.
Oh no! I wasn't looking at stream memes anymore. I was dealing with it.
All right. Well, guys, that was fun. I mean, it wasn't so bad. I don't know about you guys, but I enjoyed it. Again, I can tolerate this show.
I enjoyed playing Tekken.
You are a terrible liar.
What?
You are a terrible liar. I found it okay. You are a terrible liar.
Yeah, compared to Maggie May Fish, like that was a good Maggie May Fish video.
Hold on. Right, hold on. All right, listen. You can't. Okay. Compared to the Holocaust, BLM's not that bad.
Wait,
you can't be saying these.
When I'm talking about a Maggie May Fish video, I'm comparing.
I can't say these things. I'm legally forbidden from comparing anything to the Holocaust.
No. Okay.
Fine. Okay. Hold on, Wes. When the really bad Germany sort of thing happened, like this is you can't compare people to Maggie May Fish. We have a whole day dedicated to Maggie May Fish because of her craziness and her insanity. We don't have a Comic Drake Day.
I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, no,
okay. I hope we never cover a video by this guy again.
Yeah, he's silly, but I wouldn't mind.
He called us ignorant children for daring to have a different.
Yeah, but that's
opinion.
funny.
Has Maggie May Fish ever said anything like that?
No. Maggie May Fish is nuts. Like we know she's nuts. We can give her a pass. With this guy,
but so is Comic Drake.
He is,
but he thinks he's the only sane one in the world.
I don't think Comic Drake has anything between his ears. He's just hiding behind his mug, and I think his mug is more personality.
There's just another mug in his head.
An empty mug.
This is your
just like the one he's holding all the time.
So this is your Canadianism of being like, I have to be nice to him at some point. Yeah, it's fine. No, don't be nice to him.
How many times did he outright lie in this video? I'm not talking about his forget his attitude, forget all that. You can be as polite as possible. I don't care. How many times did he outright lie and use false information in this video?
Numerous times.
He does not deserve the benefit of the doubt. He forfeited it when he lied on multiple occasions throughout the video.
It is possible that that letter was real, but again, we don't know, and we'd have to
X to doubt.
We'd have to do our own homework.
But that's even that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how many times did he call? Did he refer to? I still can't remember the guy's name.
Oh, the David. What is it called?
Dan Cohen.
Yeah.
How
many times did he call him the creator of Static? Who knew? And Dan Dingle. How many times did he call him the creator of Static?
He got those confused with being the creator of the company, not the actual product from the company. Right?
No, he lied.
Yeah, he lied.
I can forgive many things with these people after all these years, guys. Okay. These are easy mistakes to make, and we could say, he's not.
It's also an easy thing to lie about.
Sure.
He intentionally contorted what was true and what wasn't.
Honestly, these guys are in their own worlds.
I just love Smuds.
They're in their own worlds. They have mirrors.
Retarded.
Okay?
They're retarded. It's fine.
No. They're in their own echo chambers. They don't know how to think critically. Okay, I really don't think they're liars. Okay,
they are liars. They are both. So what? Those things are not mutually exclusive.
If you are confused, you pretty much can't tell what is real and what isn't. So that is enough for me for these people to get their facts wrong.
It isn't confusion.
Therefore, if you have bad starts, bad premises, you're going to have a bad conclusion, a wrong conclusion. It makes perfect sense to me. It happens a lot, especially in essay writing, stories, whatever. So if your facts are wrong from the get-go, your conclusions are going to be wrong as well.
Yeah, and at some point you can realize that, I've just been talking shit, but people ate it up anyway, so I just can keep talking shit.
Exactly.
Then it becomes the exact same thing that you did before, unknowingly.
Right. So my original argument was they feel this is a good thing. They use rationalization to explain and look for things to fit their criteria for what is good. And that was that one example of that quote from the guy, and he construed that to mean he created Static Shock, which obviously it wasn't. So that is not good reporting as far as I'm concerned with getting your facts wrong. So you can call that a lie.
Yeah,
That's
but he called that entire section undisputed facts, and he lied
that
the
was
entire
weird.
time.
Yeah,
Smud.
that was weird. I don't know what he was trying to do there, especially the soapbox.
He was trying to lie.
No. He's trying to be dramatic and sell to his audience, whatever. But that was cringy more than anything. So I was like, oh god, he's doing a bit. You're like, okay, whatever. I don't think a lot about these guys, so I don't really care to know the nuance of their words and the style upon which they communicate. I really don't care. But it's obvious to pick it apart that, okay, he's missing some information here. He's biased over here. He doesn't know this fact. He didn't do enough homework there. It happens all throughout my life. I've seen it academically, talking to people, talking to parents, talking to kids. It's false premises or unuseful information and thinking it's fact and then running with it. So anyway, not a big deal. I think Maggie May Fish and Cavernacle and Renegade Cut, those guys are a whole other ball game. And that's where the problems lie. Not this fellow. This guy is small compared to them, at least in my mind. So anyway, you guys have other opinions. I'm grateful. I do appreciate it. That's why we're here. So thank you so much.
Okay then, Smud. Don't worry about it. You're wrong, but it's okay.
I think he may be smaller, but I still think he's a habitual liar.
Yeah, just because
honestly,
he's smaller than others doesn't make them any less wrong about what they're talking about.
Honestly, Smud, I just think you're an ignorant child.
I will say this: my response to him,
he is smaller. I think Comic Drake has over 1 million subs.
Well, in terms of his arguments and what he delivers is small to me.
Yeah,
it's weak. It's not very special. I don't really care.
Yeah.
Anyway, the response I'm giving to him is small compared to Cavernacle, because Cavernacle just constant, stupid, wrong, idiot, ignorant, blah 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 blah.
Well, yeah, so was Drake in this entire fucking video.
Hold.
He just has a different personality.
Aside from his own name, what did he say that was correct?
It was a show that was made in a certain time period by a bunch of people. That's about it. I don't care enough to correct him because it doesn't mean anything. It's just a bunch of facts. Like, you could just Google this.
Yeah.
Right? That's not a big deal. It's the argumentation I care about. So the facts that you guys brought up and the details of the scenes, I'll tell them about. But the whole BLM shit, that was bad. Like, that was really scary. I'm like, okay, dude, you are out to lunch. So, and that's the main point. The BLM stuff is dangerous, and he thinks that's a good thing. So, anyway, I don't want to take up your time. Thank you guys for listening to me ramble at the end here. Great day. I'm having a good time. Great weather. Get a drink, relax, get a massage, whatever. Ask for a massage, whatever you do with your significant others or family members, or go pay for a spa time if you're still allowed. Are spas open? I don't think so. Jeez, God, you can't even go out for a spa.
They are if you have a vaccine, which means they're open for me because I'm just going to fucking lie.
Ah, good call. Okay. Anyway.
Based and bad pill.
All right. Yeah, we got it. One more super chat. I'm sorry, Vladimir. Vladimir Dragonov, which really bad German thing, if you haven't noticed, that list is a few miles long minimum. Oh, come on. Leave the Germans alone.
I can't even say the most recent bad German thing either. It's like, yeah, you are correct. Angela
Merkel counts. So
I wanted to mention that one. And I have no idea how to get rid of that.
That is it's a book. That's not a page. That is a book.
Well, you guys don't have a Second Amendment, so I don't know what you're gonna do.
Oh.
Well, we can argue that Angela Merkel is the product of socialism. So I don't know if you want to blame the Germans for that or Marx. It's up to you.
Wasn't he German?
Well, guys,
again,
I don't want to take your time. Thank you so much for the panel. Thanks for popping in there. Wisp wasn't expecting, but thank you for popping in. Guys, that was great. You guys know your stuff. I really appreciate you because you know a heck of a lot more than I do on these topics. And I didn't have to bribe or steal to get you on. That's great. So
I mean, if you're offering money,
I should. You know, you guys are doing a great job. I really should, because
all right, okay, $100 an hour.
$100. Let me ask Mike Testa.
I'll take that offer too.
Let me fit the bill for it. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great night. We'll talk to you soon. Bye bye now.